Monday, August 18th. We have an agenda here to get through, so first we'll start with staff confirming the presence of a quorum.
Mr. Bungavis?
Present.
Mr. Horke?
Here.
Mr. Khan? Dr. Keen?
Here.
Ms. Carlson?
Here.
Mr. McCarty?
Here.
Mr. Mooney?
Here.
Mr. Neal?
Present.
And Mr. Woodard?
Here.
We have a quorum.
We do have quorum, thank you very much. The next item is to announce any changes to the agenda, and I do have a note here because of the uniqueness of tonight's meeting related to the second portion of our evening, which will be an update on the comprehensive plan. That if there is a quorum of city council present, by the time this meeting ends, we will actually adjourn this meeting and we will bring to order a joint meeting. If at the end of the meeting there is not, which I understand there won't be, but in case three councilors run in here at the last minute, but if we don't have anybody, then we will add that to our workshop as a second item. So that is the instruction I have. Any questions or comments? Other than that, we'll move on from there. Next item is the approval of the previous meeting minutes from August 4th, 2025. Pleasure of the commission.
Make a motion to approve August 4th.
Motion by Mr. Bunkavis. There's a second. Second by Councilor McCarty. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the rules of procedure.
Yep.
Mr. Rogers.
Thank you. So tonight's meeting, we do have a workshop item, so just wanted to cover a few rules of procedure. First, the department will introduce the petition stating when the item was last before the Plan Commission. The Plan Commission and petitioner will then discuss the changes made to the ordinance. Once the discussion is finished, the department will summarize the final changes that are expected to be made prior to the petition returning for a recommendation.
Thank you.
Please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, then we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time. If you must answer them, then please quietly exit the room. We would like to remind those attending virtually to please mute your microphone when not speaking. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda items. We have 3 of those, and I believe before we move forward on that, Mr. Mooney, you did note that you had a conflict on one of the items and therefore he will not be a part of the discussion or the vote. Just to announce that for the record. Any information from staff that we need?
Yeah, I just wanted to cover these briefly. The first one is the Central Indiana Insulation Building Expansion. This is a small building expansion to an existing business here in the community. The second one is the Grand Millennium Mixed Use. This is a mixed use development located just south of the library. And we also have the Beacon North American headquarters, which we recently went through the zoning process just a while back. So that development plan is ready for approval along with the other 2 that I just mentioned. So that's just a brief overview. The exhibits and everything else is on the agenda.
Any comments or questions from commissioners? Seeing and hearing none, would be a motion to take the consent agenda items.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilor McCarty, second by Mr. Bunkavis. Any further discussion? Staff, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bunkavis? Yes. Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Dr. Keen?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodard?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Next item, we will move to our workshop items, starting with 2507-PUD-14, which is the 199th and Monon PUD. We will start with notes from staff.
Sure. Thank you, President. So back before us this evening is the 199th and Monon PUD. This was last before the Planning Commission at their July 7th public hearing. As you may recall, there were quite a few public comments primarily related to the 199th Street infrastructure itself, along with some questions about density of the houses and things like that. However, the takeaways from the Planning Commission to the petitioner really were few, focusing on thinking about amenities and the streetscape from 199th Street. And there have been some modifications that the petitioner will explain here now. So, John.
Thank you. For the record, John Dabashewitz with Nelson and Frankenberger. We represent the petitioner Onyx East. With Onyx is Jake Dieter and Nick Boydovich. Close enough. You keep it Dabashewitz, I get it. And Jim Schinner, attorney with our office. I want to take a couple minutes. Dane indicated the primary focus of the discussion on what might things look like from 199th Street. We have a couple additional images, and we drilled down, or the petitioner drilled down on site engineering, in particular with regard to drainage and some utility intersections as they would address the cluster courtyards along the Monon. So what we have on the screen, as you're looking at the screen on the left-hand side is the old concept plan and then the revised concept plan. And you can see here, previously there were detention facilities internal to the site right here and here. And additional site engineering considerations have led to a couple changes which actually benefit the discussion about 199th Street and how it would appear from 199th Street. So you see the two ponds have moved to the southeast corner and to the southwest corner. And the row of homes here, those homes, while they still have their back, we've adjusted it so that they're not a single straight line of homes that would back against it. There's still landscaping. At the southeast corner, we've got an image that I'll show you. These homes along this run will actually face south and southeast on the plan. The other adjustments, in addition to the ponds moving, there was some concern about this reverse corner here and access. This was originally planned as a full access entrance into the neighborhood. That's gonna be a right in, right out only, so that it eliminates that concern about a car queuing here that wants to turn into the site, stopped, where there's cars coming around that hard corner at that location there. The cluster area has modified. You can see this, and for lack of it's kind of a dumbbell shape here, where before it came in and terminated. Part of that is accessibility to the area. The other part is providing infrastructure utilities, in particular sanitary sewer. So some modifications were made. The design and the layout's still the same. It's still gonna achieve the same type of transition, but there's gonna be a couple connections between the two in that location. Previously, there was discussion about providing a path in 3 different locations. As the Plan Commission may recall, there's a narrow strip of ground, it's approximately 10 feet wide, that runs from about right here along the west side, if you will, of the Monon, and that's owned by a third party. They haven't granted authority for us to cross, with the exception of water utility, with paths in that space, so we still have a connection, and that connection will just be limited to down here at this location. That led to some reorganization of some open space along the north end where it wasn't connected to the Monon, but there's still that connectivity. Setbacks to the trail were enhanced somewhat. There's about an additional 10 feet to 15 feet of setback there along the trail. Tree preservation will occur within that space that's along the Monon today. One of the images that we showed at the last meeting was absent of, it was kind of, here's the image from the trail, but it's if you could see through the vegetation that was along in between the two. There's no plan for removal in that space. And then can we advance to the next slide? I'll go through some additional details. So this is a new image that we posted today. If you were standing here at the intersection of the Monon Trail and 199th Street looking north and west, this is the view. You'd see homes facing that pond, so the pond and then the homes facing that. So it wraps around where homes face towards the trail and then wrap around where they're facing 199th Street, right here in this corner of the site. As you would see here, that's one modification. You can go to the next slide. These are the revised cluster courtyard designs with character imagery. This is the space that's encompassed here. So you have one end of that same turnaround movement. If you take that and you would kind of superimpose it and turn it this way, that creates what I'll call the dumbbell. You drive in one side of it, you drive in the other. Homes are still positioned to service that area as they were previously, but it just reorients them so they're north to south, if you will. On the plan, this is some revised character imagery of what those areas might look like between homes. Next slide, please. And then this image you saw previously, this is on the main public street that turns into right here, the private driveway that services the areas. That's the appearance based on the architectural program and how access would be from that area. It just gives you a real image of what that would look like potentially constructed. Next slide. This is the first interior park area. That interior park area has been modified slightly. The previous design, while still a triangle, was shaped a little different from this plan. So they replanned that space, provided some additional character imagery. These images are plugged into the ordinance, so they're gonna provide those facilities in a way that's meaningful and consistent with the character that's shown in this exhibit. Again, it's attached to the ordinance and it requires it. Next slide. This is another one of the interior spaces. This is a space that previously had that pond in it. There is a path that comes through, actually all the way through the site, up through here, that connects everybody together to get into these spaces. So it's not just, in essence, bigger backyards for folks who live around one another, and shows you how their plan is to program that interior space right there. Next slide. This last exhibit is the northern area next to the pond, and where previously there was just the path with a connection over to the Monon. That's gonna stop here. We're gonna have some additional parking for residents, and then a fishing pier that would be projected into the water right there where you see it aligned. Again, all the images that we've shown you of those reconfigured public spaces or common areas are plugged into the ordinance, whereby staff will review for compliance with the provisions of the ordinance if adopted. So those are all the adjustments that we wanted to review with the Plan Commission. I know in particular, like Dane said, the comments that we received at the Plan Commission meeting were central to 199th Street. That area has been repaved and I think also striped. I didn't drive up there before tonight's meeting. But those improvements have been made and we want to address that as well as access around that hard corner that we did, and then improving effectively the streetscape by pulling those ponds up and having those home space near the Monon to create the image that you saw on the screen earlier. So with that, we would ask that the Plan Commission consider forwarding the matter back to the full Plan Commission at their September 2nd meeting. And then at that meeting, we would request a recommendation onto the council for consideration as soon as September 9, or actually it's the 8th, sorry. Thank you.
Before I turn it over to, just for a process question, then, is that request, which obviously moves it to 2 weeks from now, does that require a suspension of the rules, or can you guys administratively do that?
No, that's typical.
Perfect. All right, members of the commission, question, comments, concerns? Dr. Keen?
How many units are there before and after?
Previously, there were 115 shown on the plan, and now there are 117 shown on the plan.
More individual homes and fewer cluster homes, is that?
Actually, the area where there's clusters actually increased.
Okay.
That was my question. So the courtyards of the garden homes, so there are more houses there now than there were previously, or not?
And there are, because those standards where that was previously here, those standards were what I'll call area B. That's the lighter yellow.
Yeah.
And those same standards apply to that pocket that we showed you of the imagery from 199th Street to that space.
Sure. You have something to say about that? Other questions or comments?
Yeah, I'll just jump in real briefly that previously had already appreciated the project. After we have this discussion, we're gonna have a discussion regarding the comp plan, and a lot of the elements that we've been discussing regarding the comp plan are implemented here. So it's just a really wonderful, unique project for Westfield and a great fit for it as well, considering what's already surrounding it. I love the emphasis on trying to preserve as much as you can, as well as the nature elements, so on and so forth, intentional space for both future and current residents. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention, yes, 199th Street, that was first identified back in the spring of needing to see some improvements, and quite frankly, now it's gone from one of the worst roads in Westfield to an upper tier of roads in Westfield. I mean, it is absolutely a night and day difference, and I think that will serve its purpose for additional development here. So, thank you.
I have one more other question. The fishing pier, it wasn't there before, right?
It was.
In the previous?
It was,
It
but
was there?
it wasn't detailed in that.
Ah,
as
Okay,
detailed.
but it was planned?
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of questions. Are on the dumbbell streets, are those private or are those public
Private.
streets? Those are private. On the is there off-street parking allowed in those areas on the private streets? Or how does that, or like is the whole stub or just the dumbbell portion?
Yeah, if you can, here's that imagery. There is not a plan for providing parking in that space. That area is not that large. So you might have cars parked in your driveway and one positioned along the edge of that interior space. But that, it's not the plan to provide that. It would be on the public street. The public streets are all designed like out here.
Yeah,
You see that little notch?
for the front
And
street
right, and
parking?
the notch,
Yeah,
the notch up here.
yeah,
So all this stretch of roadway here is planned,
awesome.
so it's 1 per 20, so there's probably
Certainly gonna stock that.
30.
I think that, actually, I didn't notice that, I appreciate you pointing that out, that is, I would like to see more, I love that, actually. That helps a lot of reasons, especially in the snow world. That's a huge help. What about, how, is this like, are you gonna do gang mailboxes in this community?
You have to.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it a different
But I
way.
think if I'm not mistaken, it's a requirement now. And
All new subdivisions require them.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
so that would be along the main
That's horrible.
streets within the probably clusters. As staff may be able to advise you more on that, but our experience is there's 8 and 16 mailbox clusters typically. And those would be positioned throughout the neighborhood. It wouldn't be one common
Yeah,
stop, but there probably would be 8 to 10 of those different 8 or 16 servicing.
you know, the, one of the, comments, yeah, as the people came through, there was a lot, definitely the 199th, right, was a resounding thing. So I think that should help through the process. I think this is an awesome community. I really can't think of anything negative about it. And to me, when you get this kind of density, like the parking actually is always the stuff that I find turns into a train wreck. You know, not having off-street parking and seeing that's such a win, so good job.
Further comments or questions from commissioners?
Can you?
Dr. Dr. King?
Just have a question, maybe it's, back in the recesses of my memory, it seemed like the Monon north of 196 was going to be both pedestrian and equestrian mixed use. Has that fallen off the radar?
I'm not aware of that.
Not either, I think, sounds like it probably has.
Actually, at Monon Trails, there was supposed to have been a place where those of the community, which certainly doesn't include me, that have such an animal could find a place to park and get on the trail.
Just
Very much was a
28 miles an hour.
Horses, just no golf carts. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Mr. Mooney, sorry.
This is the perfect slide. Can you point to or walk me through that Monon connectivity? I was trying to follow along, but.
Well, there is a narrow band of ground, about 10 feet wide, that starts right about here.
Yeah.
And runs all the way north to, I think it may even be the entire property line. And that's owned by a third party, so there's not direct connectivity to the Monon. South there, you see that little notch?
Yeah.
South of there isn't, that band doesn't exist, and we have connectivity.
Okay.
Thanks for pulling that up.
So yeah, you can see,
I had a map up today. I was trying to follow along.
The yellow, the bandwidth on that, there's a double blue line. It almost looks like a single blue line because it's so narrow, it's only 10 feet wide. But that exists from that point all the way to the north perimeter of the site.
Yeah, weird. Another question that came up, and I'm sure this is usually not related to us, but I assume the fire department has signed off on access to the dumbbells?
They've reviewed it through TAC, yeah. And we actually have greater connectivity now, because
prior.
they're connected, and with the one to the south, you see that connected. And it comes down through here, this space.
Okay.
And connects up, so all these houses face the interior street, these face that way.
I'll just add this T here actually is consistent with a Westfield standard for a hammerhead turnaround, 3-point turnaround, whereas we didn't actually have that in the previous plan, it was sized to Westfield.
So it got more accessible, not less.
We believe, yeah, we would argue it's more accessible.
TAC agrees. Okay. Thank you. Other questions or comments from commissioners?
I just wanted to
Sorry,
add
yes.
to Mr. Woodard's point, that element that you saw in that detail isn't just along that one street, it's across the rest of the neighborhood.
Okay.
So it's provided everywhere, regardless of whether you have the cluster condition or the condition of modest or more larger lots along the other areas. And then to Dr. Keene's question about the number of lots, written in the ordinance today, it would permit a maximum of 125 lots. And we can modify that down because they've done additional engineering and just cap it at 120. So there might be a 1 or 2 lot adjustment through zoning to detailed construction plans. But we don't anticipate it, but it allows it today, but we'll pull that away so that it would be nearly identical to this if it was changed.
I have one last question too. Now, with that off-street parking, is our ordinance would prevent a car from staying there for like 3 days, or how does that, or is that an association? Cause it's a public street, so it'd be us, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you even need to do anything about it. It'd be a city.
On the public streets,
Yeah.
it's controlled by the city of Westfield. On the private drives, it would be the HOA. And that's not a question I know the answer to about if you can leave your car parked indefinitely. It's not a zoning code. Kevin's looking puzzled. It's not, I know it's not a zoning code, it's just
Where
city.
your mind goes to that is you're a family of 5 with multiple drivers.
Yeah, and you just have a car that sits out there for
Maybe
3
that,
months.
I don't know, but maybe that's not who you're catering to in the
I think our HOA will prevent that from being a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll be the ones to call and say, so and so didn't move their trailer for 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. I was just curious to know what the rule, how we dealt with stuff like that as a city.
Yeah, I think just general, without doing a deep dive here, I think general thought is on public streets, if there's a sign obviously for no parking or limited parking hours, that's something that obviously would be enforceable. Otherwise, I don't know that we necessarily have a time limit on how long a street.
I think if it's plated and it's operable.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
operable.
if it's clearly inoperable, then we could.
Yeah, then abandoned vehicle law kicks in.
You don't think that's any area of concern though?
I don't, I mean,
I haven't heard any complaints about anything like that.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments from commissioners?
At our last meeting, staff, I had asked clarification on what would be determined as a side yard versus rear yard setback for some of those Monon facing homes. And even within the updated dumbbell, it appears that some are still side yard facing. So if we were to approve a 5-foot side yard, could they technically come back for detailed development plan and have that closer to the Monon based off of right?
I mean, they would still need to have substantial compliance with the concept plan. So I guess, yeah, that's one thing I can look into about, it is a public right of way, even though it is not a street. So I'll have to see how we define, I will have to see how we define side yard, but whatever the ordinance states, but it also has to be clear with the concept plan that there is more space between the Monon Trail and the lots today, so we would take that into consideration too.
Because even on the plan, some of the homes, if you go to number 4 from the presentation, it shows even some of those side yards encroaching a little closer than some of what would be determined as a rear yard there.
Valid point, Kevin just told me that with that strip in
Yeah.
place, it would not be it would not be abutting the public right of way. With that strip in place, it would be a rear yard.
Perfect. Perfect.
except for the part where there is
Yeah.
adjacency to the trail, but I think all of those were,
Those are front yards.
yeah, it didn't look like there was any sort of confusion there, so.
They wouldn't have frontage at that point.
Okay, and then so say for instance, if for some reason the municipality were to acquire that bike strip one day, it is what it is, kind of grandfathered in, even if that does become public right away at one
It
point.
does after development, yeah.
Perfect. In terms of like the plan shown for, I'll call the amenities, kind of the walkways, the garden styles, et cetera. I might have missed it, and apologies if I did. The previous plan looked like a little more hardscape, where this one looks a little more aggregate based. Were there changes in your contemplated like courtyard design, and what does that look like?
Yeah, we thought a more natural aesthetic was gonna play better than more of the traditional concrete and what have you, and so that's why we used a lot of the aggregate and the concept imagery. We're still feeling that out, frankly, with regard to snow removal and what have you. A lot of that concept imagery came from the southeast where they have a little bit less snow than we do here, so we'll dial that in by the final development plan.
Thank you.
Further comments or questions from commissioners? Seeing and hearing none, it sounds like we will be seeing this come before us in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for your time, greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
As I scan the room, the same number of city councilors are here as when we started, therefore there is not a quorum. So, I'm sorry,
There's three, but still not.
was there a third one? I'm sorry. Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't look that far over. So with that, then the next item on our workshop agenda is the comprehensive plan workshop. I'm gonna turn that over to.
Can we take a 5-minute break to reset the room?
Absolutely. We'll take a 5-minute recess at this time.
See you somewhere soon.
Yep, it's done.
My 25.
Oh, you're killing me.
At Westfield.
I was gonna turn these to this way. We're working on it right now. I was gonna turn these one, both of this way.
Tracy Williams, you remember Tracy Williams? Tracy Williams,
You guys are truly. Yeah. And then rotate that one, and then. So funny. You're gonna make them 4. You guys, I was in there. Oh, okay, I was just thinking if we just do concessions too.
Oh,
Things have gone.
I don't care, whatever you want.
You wanna turn this?
I don't know yet.
I've been told that you guys know his brother.
Okay.
So, I don't know if it's,
There will be nothing that goes through.
Escape while you can.
yeah.
Put it on my spine.
Thanks so much.
That in.
Where'd they work?
Same thing on that
I
end.
remember my 20th and my 30th.
I may not be back in.
Oh, sorry. No, you're good, I don't want it to spill.
I don't know if I'm gonna be in You will leave this table where
I will steal the table.
Maybe that we don't even,
So
I
yeah,
know
you
we're gonna
buy
have an
it.
item. So
it is a public meeting.
I know that
Say goodbye to your things.
You're welcome to keep yours. Just make sure I get it back.
we're gonna.
Why do we have to move?
It's a workshop. It's a workshop.
It's fun, where was that?
Okay, so you guys need to divide yourselves equally between the two tables.
No, you are.
Did you meet her in college or something?
So 5 over here and 5 over here.
Please join in wherever you would like.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay, we made it. We did our duty. That's Stephanie.
Hey Stephanie, Joe Duff. Nice to meet you.
one of your commercials on the radio yesterday.
We did.
Pass it around.
Someone heard it.
You can start this around.
Trying to promote our company like heck.
Yeah.
We just moved into it and we had like done no
Here's
promotion
a
in 8
pile of
years.
these
and
for
we're
your
like,
tables.
we're doing it.
Thank you.
Do you do any plants in here?
What now?
Do you do any plants in here?
No. I know.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Just come by and
Yeah,
Here
water.
are all
and
the
everything. I don't
plants,
think
and if
there's
they
any
look,
plants in
and
here
if
right
they
now.
look bad, they just took not broken plants.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah, it was
none for
great.
that.
so we're trying to add. We're trying to grow.
We're all good, I got 20 minutes.
Literally.
Is that it, literally? Yeah, you
Okay.
just tell me when.
I don't have to gavel back.
Bring in your pens
Are
and
you feeling like you're ready to
markers.
go?
Yeah, you just tell
You
me.
wait for anybody else?
Your wife just had that Prevail event.
Here.
Was that last Saturday?
And this meeting is still being streamed.
Couple
Yeah, I
times?
just confirmed.
Okay, how was it? Good?
The new-
Yeah, very fun.
I'm taking pictures.
See hers, email, her email, I gave me email, so.
Are you the driver?
doubt it.
Well, we're not having anything for the screen.
It's a screen, okay.
Yeah,
there's no screen action, this is a low-tech meeting.
Alright, with that,
On the end, I wanted to make sure I could see that.
I don't think we're even
Everybody good?
announced.
alright, I'll call back to order the plan commission meeting. And it's, well, give me a little block, it won't be so hard. Alright, and I'll turn that over to our wonderful friends. You may go.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for having us back again. So we've been working on the comprehensive plan. So we've been continuing to move the place types forward. And I guess to remind you of who we are, I'm Cynthia Bowen with REA, Rose Scoville, Deputy Project Manager. So we're,
Between your
I know,
and your water.
yes, I am.
She's
Yes, I am.
always like that.
No, it's not intentional. Thank you.
It's all downhill from here.
It is. So we've been working on the place types map as well as starting to put some detail behind those. But in the meantime, we had to develop the policy angle of the comprehensive plan. So as you see the staff, when they're writing their staff reports and making recommendations, they are referencing policy out of the comprehensive plan to help make those recommendations. So what we're going to do tonight, we have put together a series of goals, which you have already taken a look at, objectives, and action steps. So that is what is in your handout. Now the handout has the economic development, the housing, the quality of place, and transportation. So you have all categories in your packet for you to look through. On the tables, because we didn't want to keep you here all night, we have each table doing 2 sessions. So I think transportation and
I think I have transportation and housing.
and then that would leave economic development and quality of place over at this table to work through.
We'll have about 30 minutes, maybe a little more for each of those topics.
So what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna have you look at each of the objective and the action steps, see if we've got everything covered for that, or if we're missing anything. That's why we have extra lines down at the bottom. And then we're gonna talk about what do you think that priority is? From a low, medium, high. So do you think that the priority needs to be immediate, which would be kind of high? Do you think it's moderate, or do you think it's a low priority? And then we will rate the level of difficulty. Whereas a 1, it's low-hanging fruit, it's very easy for us to implement, to a 4, which it would really take a lot of political clout and a lot of public support in order for us to implement this action step. And then if there are potential partners that you think that are outside of the city that we need to engage in this or to help implement this action step, then we're gonna write that down as well. So does that kind of make sense, what we're doing?
So each of you have the individual sheets. You'll be able to make notes on those or take them home with you. We're not collecting those. What we will do is have you read through one at a time. We'll have a discussion one at a time, try to assign that priority and level of difficulty, talk about any partners, and then move on to the next one and kind of keep moving through them. There's roughly 3 to 5 sheets per topic for us to get through. And so we will check in at about 10 after 8 for the first round, Cynthia?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we're supposed to just discuss it and decide what we think?
So, well, yeah, we'll be sitting here at each table with you guys.
So who guys want to say?
We're gonna start with transportation.
Okay.
So we'll start with quality of place, so we have that up.
Just don't have page numbers in your packet.
Yes, I am a scribe.
I'd like pages.
Not I was gonna make a picture.
See,
Come on in.
come on
I am
in.
the scribe.
We did not necessarily
Great to hear.
print enough for everyone.
Okay, so
People that we
It's
thought.
fine.
I saw
We're starting
I
quality
got
place.
it.
yeah, quality of place.
Excellent.
We'll start
Like
with
5.1.
objective
Yes.
one.
Yes.
The the transportation
5.1?
goal
Yes.
is
So
about
let me,
modernization of the
so we
street
have the
network,
quality of
ensuring
place
safe and
goal
efficient flow of traffic
as
for all
being
modes, reducing
people
car
recognize the
dependency,
quality of
and
place in
supporting higher
Westfield
density housing types through
and make it a
improved
choice
pedestrian and bicycle
It is a
infrastructure,
community where
enhanced
local
transit,
history
and
is
mixed use
ingrained through
development
public art
patterns.
and initiatives.
Integrating
The
housing,
natural
employment,
features of the
retail, and
community are
services.
valued
So
assets
the
on their own.
first one is maintain and
and as they
modernize the
contribute
street network to
recreation
provide for current
opportunities and
and future
programming.
transportation needs
Recreation
to
for
ensure
people of all
safety for
ages
all
is a
modes of
focus of the
transportation.
Westfield community.
So
So
the
the
first
objective
action
this
on that
actions are
is
maintain
right
and
sizing
improve
roadways
passive
based
green
on
spaces that
density and
provide valuable
intensity of
connections to nature.
use.
So the first one is include passive
Can I go back? to
spaces
something?
in park
This
design.
is a goal of ours, or this might be a goal of ours?
This would be
So
a goal
clarify
moving
the
forward.
terminology.
This
for
is a
me.
goal that we've
Okay.
established so
Because a
far
park
through
to me
the
is pretty
process.
This is a goal that we
So what's
might make
passive
someday.
space in a park design?
Is that what
Okay,
you're
so
saying?
passive
This is what
space
we're,
is
you're,
one
this is the goal that has
is
been
not
developed through the
really
comprehensive
programmed.
planning
That
process
it,
today.
people could
and
just
that you will
walk through
eventually
it, it doesn't have
adopt as
playground
part of the
equipment in it.
Okay.
Mostly has trees, it's, like I said, it's not overly programmed.
So.
2 lanes,
Be entirely
north, south,
passive.
double lane roundabouts and everything.
Yes, it could just be filled with trees and flowers and
Make it like south of 146th
open
Street.
space, yes, more open space.
Widen access for roads,
Yeah.
for semis to get.
You'll be able to
people
do
in
frisbee
and out.
golf there, you'll be fine.
Still lose the traffic.
But also 191st Street, which is still a
Parking.
farm to market
Yeah,
road,
right,
one
exactly.
lane in each direction.
So, yeah, you have, I
The
mean, you have all,
shoulder needs
like,
to be
you have several
wide.
parks that are
to
really
accommodate.
Yes, it
programmed,
does.
have
I
a
live
lot of
there. Yes, it
activities
does.
in them.
Yeah.
It's covered.
Everybody
Some
kind of agrees
that
on that one, so that's kind of what we mean by right
Purely
sizing, is
passive.
making sure that they're meeting.
161st Street from 31.
The ground
was
just
supposed
over
to be a
here
lane road
is
all the way
programmed
down
to be
High
pretty
Pleasant
much passive.
Mhm.
But that's
But
changed,
behind it,
yeah.
so now it doesn't need to be that,
Right.
it can be,
Something else.
so, so it's moved the traffic.
Is there any other discussion on this? Do we agree with the assessment that it's high priority?
Talking, but it seems
Yeah,
to me
no, I
like
think
you don't
that's a
program this in
no-brainer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would also say that also
It's never gonna
reduces
be-
our cost too, because we don't have to
unless
get
you
through
rip
traffic.
things out and just leave it.
So what would you say is the level of
Seems to me
difficulty on that
Anytime
one?
there's intentionality, it's gotta be a higher
I was,
priority
I
than
was
low,
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's easier than putting in 4-lane.
medium or high.
I think it's too much of a broad brush though, because where's
I'm
the
gonna
park
defer
located to then determine
That
whether
no.
it has to be.
Alright.
Okay,
required.
cool.
The only tricky part you get in on that.
To say all parks need passive space, what if it's next to the garden style homes?
Right, and you,
Versus what if it's next to
ideally,
Chatham, right,
moving
which, okay,
forward,
bad example, they're both there,
you'd
but
be
you know what I
having
mean?
your development up there
Density of
without
the development,
annexation.
density of what's surrounded would then determine the passivity required, no?
Within the planning area.
I mean, that was really the whole.
Program in place. It's supposed to be rife with activities, we probably don't wanna put it out there.
City, west is really only got 146th Street, 161st Street,
There's
south
To your point,
32.
McGregor Park
Right.
used to
And
be the
north
perfect
191st
outlier, now it's
Street,
being surrounded by
everyone-
things, right?
I'm not questioning the priority, I'm just
Right.
saying the level of difficulty,
You
there's
can still take horses there,
a little bit more there.
So is,
even though you don't do it on the mountain.
is part
So,
of this
well, but
maybe
again, what we're talking
developing
about
criteria
This is, we're right sizing.
for,
I could get bogged down,
Yeah.
never mind.
passing,
No, I mean,
yeah,
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect
define
example is-
criteria and how
Some
passive
of their first roads.
park space,
They couldn't
where it would be
be,
located and
flower trucks.
Councilmember McCarty, is there a special formula or criteria as to how park impact fees are injected
Makes
in
it
what parts of
easier,
what part
and
of
then
the
you can also
community?
get equipment.
I think
when you
just an
need to
overall
do
discussion of
What the subdivisions need to do, they learn real quick
are
when you're
wanting, cause
undersizing things.
last year we.
But you can oversize them too, and then have people flying through neighborhoods.
Essentially like we're
Yeah.
doing with the comp plan, the park master plan, the 5-year plan.
Times that they fix
People.
On
I think
that.
it's fairly ironic
Just
that
like
we just talked
any
about
planning we're
putting
doing right
like
now, just
60
depending on
houses in on
future
a
feedback,
hammerhead
but
that
in terms of
like-
overall funding, it's just,
no way you get a fire truck get in there and
so it's all treated the same.
our first thing is right sizing
Right
roadways.
sizing.
It came with a 3-point turn.
Yeah, I think
It's
that
in
the
my mind
hammer
is
is so they can.
Trying to move through
Yeah,
this.
so they can do
This
it.
topic, to me, every park is different,
Yeah.
Right,
so you
and-
have to
yeah.
have some consideration.
And you don't wanna
That's why
design
it's
every road
medium
so that.
priority.
um,
You have to think about it.
Can do a U-turn,
But every-
that's way
but-
over paving.
It's not a high priority to have passive areas in a park if that's not.
Okay, I think we have some general consensus that this is maybe a 1 or 2 on difficulty, but it's high priority.
Because of the
And,
natural stream, because
So then,
just the places.
we already have the east-west
Now,
part
there's some
in here,
activity
we've
to
heard
it,
that
the
multiple
playground,
times.
and Westfield
This
welcomes
is not
hosting events
necessarily
there.
an easy one,
But it
but,
could go both ways, and same way with
more
other parks as
east-west
well.
connections
But there's a
citywide,
lot
and
of
then more
activity there.
north-south on the
Um,
west side of the city.
We need some 4-lane.
Well, I guess I don't see that, to me, a high priority would be, we have to have a passive area in this park. And we're not,
So I'm going with medium 2.
That northwest corridor is a little bit of
I
a.
mean, is it a 2 or is it a 4? Because the difficulty
Mhm.
then is what use matrix. would
Right,
be
and we're not
required.
necessarily
But
saying all of those
My understanding was the
are
level of difficulty was the level of political
going to
clout
4
needed to
lane,
get through,
but
right?
making
And
How many
public
people show up
support.
to-
Yeah.
options as possible.
I get to play politics on the right
Live on the
side.
west side.
Medium 2, I'd concur.
Medium 2, medium 2.
The one
And I'll add
that
mediums
should be
being
four
if it
lanes.
takes us this long for these, we're gonna be here for a while.
That I
And
think,
that's what if I
right
was
now,
asked
the
one
traffic flow
clarifying
seems pretty
question
decent.
regarding
I don't
passive,
have a lot of
what do people consider
traffic
passive?
when
You
people
know,
drive
is
too
it
fast on my
just
street.
walking around or is it
But,
looking at the natural
um,
beauty? So, I mean, it's just things to
Grand
consider.
Park be
Yeah.
considered.
We'll
So
define that.
roundabouts there, but I think if there's like a 4-lane, that would be perfect.
Because of course you need the
Yeah,
landscaping.
Spring Lane is
Other
narrow,
areas
or
for
Spring Mill, I'm
nature
sorry.
to pollinate.
Kayaking.
I know, I live right off
Going
Spring Mill,
north and
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
No, it's
little
based
narrow
off of
for
that
its.
Like really, Spring Mill and 161st would be the perfect 4-lane.
Okay, the second one
And then everything else
is
can stay the
support
way it is.
development of a rural historic
I agree, we need
district
one
where there are Indiana State
So what
Department of
priority
Agriculture,
level would you
Hoosier
assign?
homesteads.
I had it as an and, but I could be convinced. it's
When you
not.
say that, that means that in the area that we may be talking about there,
I
those
just
already
think
exist.
the right size would be the
Consumer
first
homesteads are
priority, and then expanding lanes
Century,
would be the
50
second
years,
priority.
150 years.
Well, we're not necessarily rank ordering the priorities, each one will
And so
be
the State
assigned
Department
high,
of Ag
medium,
then
low,
designates them.
but
Yes.
they can't all be high either.
Right.
So,
What's the Reynolds Farm and this thing out there?
how
What's that
difficult do we
considered?
think this is?
That'll be more difficult.
On
Yeah.
213th Street.
He's been there a long time.
And
He's
funding,
using
yeah,
land
like,
like
Yeah, and you
funding.
gotta take land from
Equipment, all the
So
things
for
he has in that
Spring
historic,
Mill-
I mean, this is a
Spring Mill Road
historic
from
barn out there,
146th
so.
Street 32.
it seemed to me
back in
that's
the
pretty
day
close
when
to
it
what
was
this
being
is
looked
here.
at to be designed was $20 million.
But if you don't think about it
$60
ahead of
million.
time, this will get
It's
by
not
us.
necessarily because of the right of way.
Well, some
because
There's
of
a
the right of
map
way
that shows the current
Construction
That
costs
was,
when
construction
classified
costs
as
have
a
gone
field.
up, so that's the.
Because
We
again,
can
as a
look.
historic,
Comes in, it's just.
historical
the cost
farming
to do the work
community,
on.
is there one at 151st?
Well,
and
yeah, and
Ditch?
You know, we were trying to buy a piece of property for the schools from the Chances, and found out that there was a homestead, I mean, they'd owned that since we created the
You could have
state.
built that road
So it,
Maybe
15
town,
years ago and it would have
They
cost
knew
40
that,
million,
except
now
they're
it's gonna
talking
cost.
Doesn't seem to be a map.
maybe town road needs to be a 4-lane, I know they're really changing that. a
they're
lot.
reconfiguring town yeah,
School there.
and connecting it.
Lieutenant Governor didn't live that far.
That was that project that we looked at. There was
Yeah.
I got tasked with
Town-
figuring
town would
out
be a
where
better
are they,
one
I
because that one goes
be lost, I
forward,
failed
sure,
that test.
and-
So I guess
Way down
for me,
into-
I don't know,
Yeah.
it's kinda hard to
It's a
quantify, right? Because
79
right now, you have the different awards, 100-year,
That's right.
150-year, 200-year, but there's still no guarantee that
But they're
that
already
at some point,
messing it up
they're
with the
not
school
gonna
because
I
sell
know.
it.
Yeah.
past
Just
there.
because of the longevity doesn't mean that at some point it's not gonna be sold and developed. So how do you plan for what you don't know?
Well, do you think, should this be an action
So,
step within the
but from a
comprehensive
policy
plan?
perspective, we kind of generally agree on this, and that's maybe.
Well, and I would also.
Better than the other ones.
Yeah.
EV charging
considering
stations,
what is and is not historical, when people
I think that's low
think
too, I mean,
historical.
Maybe golf cart.
Within our
Golf
downtown
cart, then.
area, which, no, there's
I mean, I think we
It's
need
all
to,
electric vehicles and
So that
we're
full
looking at 20
equation,
years,
that
so.
if we
and I think we have them already coming in the parking garages downtown.
other historical parcels
And then
around our
The
community,
new parking garage in Graham
how
Park, if
are
we have it there,
they
I think we've
I would
covered it.
imagine all the
So
parking
we need
garages
to make sure when we're
have to
discussing historical
have
significance,
spaces
it's
in
not
the
just
future, I would
within
imagine.
Yeah.
downtown, we're not restricting ourselves, but to
I
kind
could-
of
I
your
could
point,
agree with that
all
too.
Standing in line
as
for
we're
plugging
doing
your
the
car,
comp
yeah.
plan process,
Segways and-
specifically highlighted
Those all
on the
have
map
different
of, oh, this is
charging
a
infrastructure.
That's ridiculous, and no, why can't
Right.
we be consistent?
that we can.
Why can't one model of Garmin have the same changing
As
as
an
another
asset
model of
as opposed
Garmin?
to just
Yeah.
discarding
Same
it.
brand.
The Europeans have taken care of this, by the way, it's just
Historically
us.
significant. Well, again, this award is more about longevity than, right, because it's a way to
Yeah, it,
to
well,
to
it's
to
easy
show the
and
world that
generally
this
somebody
farm
else
for
will
50
pay for
years
it.
has been producing
It's costly.
milk or
From
corn
a,
or
from a
soybean, which
municipality
is
to
part of the
have
economy, right?
it,
It's a
or
big
it's
part of
not
Indiana's
public,
economy in the
But it's
Midwest.
not a private.
And so, but it's not necessarily the same as, to his point, the downtown where we
It
have this
does-
old
it
historic
doesn't-
building that
Doesn't
Like,
really get
ultimately, it doesn't.
Westfield founding fathers decided to
Developers
come and
putting in
incorporate,
stuff.
right? There's a
I
difference
mean,
in.
most of,
policy
you're gonna
difference.
be able to either
I
get
feel that it's
grants or
low.
have
That's
somebody
my
else
personal
put it
opinion.
in.
There's not a no, so I have to go low.
And the maintenance on them.
So we gotta hustle.
I think eventually all private development
But
is
that's
going
why I'm
to
asking, is it a no?
My Meyer has them.
Yeah, it's interesting
need
to
to
have them
have
at the one grocery stores though,
What's
because
that?
like,
Consumer demand.
to me, you, like, nobody from
Right.
out of town.
I mean, what will happen is if we do start to
So-
park
Right.
and charge.
Plus
At Carmel Meyer, they actually end up
You're
having
picking which
little
restaurant you want.
drive-in
That
car
was
So it
trips
actually
where
might be
they
a
all
little
like,
bit higher on the
they
number.
cook out on Saturdays and stuff.
In charge.
Problem is, that
While they're
this talks
charging.
about historic districts,
Car wash down
and I have a feeling, oh, we really have individual
They'll drop it off the car.
homesteads, and so there's not gonna be a district, but maybe there's a preservation of lawn, so people.
So taxpayers are actually putting,
No,
no.
no, it's, they're paying for it, it's a credit card, but
Alright,
once,
we wanna
once the
move on to
car's
the next one.
charged,
Okay.
Moving on.
Just off the
moving it out of the way,
We're not
another car
moving
can
out
go
of the
and
way,
charge.
and that's where
Existing farmers.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need private
Yeah.
enforcement.
Low for it.
Tesla charges.
So my
Yep,
question
that's
is,
where
this
I
isn't
can
gonna
see.
allow my neighbor to have chickens, right?
Oh,
Just for
you
being-
should leave
just
it
for
plugged
being
in.
plugged in.
Smart.
That's what I'm saying, it's to
It's the same
protect,
as
which
paid
we've done that
farmers.
already, right?
Protect the
Yeah.
farmers.
We've talked about some of that
It
with some of
can
those
move.
farmland, yeah. So that's, it's not
So
giving
this one
my
is
neighbor the right to
medium.
put chickens.
I forgot I was supposed to.
That's what I wanna make
do
sure this
this on the
clarifies.
large
It's,
one.
the farm is already existing, we decided to
Yes.
build around it versus today Village Farm gets chickens.
Mhm.
But again,
They
we
were there
still
first,
wouldn't,
so you can't complain.
don't we already have that?
Right.
De facto, like the exact example is Woodwind,
Ah.
a family that has all
So
of the
then
livestock
we
that are
just-
already
Across the
there, you
roundabout.
can't tell them to get rid of their livestock.
Right. We've certainly heard from them
They're
numerous
probably
times.
more.
They're
They're
We
probably.
never told them, sorry, you're just gonna have to go away, so.
Low for it.
It also depends on if
That
you're
one
using
is
all
real
local
project.
funding or if you're using federal funding.
Crazy.
Cause it gets more expensive if you use.
Okay, so the last one on this
Well,
one,
because there's different
develop a
rules.
natural trail,
Yeah.
Westfield Trail network.
It's more expensive, but the locality is paying only 10 to 20% of it.
No.
So in the
Okay,
end, you
so
still
what
get
is the
a
future, what is the future of southwestern Washington Township?
So on the second objective, establish street design standards, including traffic calming tools,
Isn't that the-
landscaping and
I
lighting
pictured the yellow
standards to
in my head right
enhance
now in the
safety and the
comprehensive
user
plan.
experience. So the first
was
one
talking
on
about
this is
earlier, right?
gateway branding.
When Melody Sweat was the parks director way back when,
Look different than the giant.
and we were developing Mona.
Well, in
Trail,
other
Let's
locations.
read through them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
2.1
There's a
develop,
lot, there's a lot.
96th north
Yeah.
to Sheridan.
but again,
Kinda
you're
like
not like rank
By
ordering
Muncie,
them,
there's a
but
trail up
develop
there that's
gateway
dual
branding,
purpose.
use curving
But it was-
streets or
it was
chicanes to
only
slow
to
traffic.
Connect up to other
Use
trails that were similar.
traffic
It wasn't
calming
really something
methods
new.
for pedestrian
Is there a
safety
system
such
for
as
this?
curb
Is it
extensions
near
or
Arcadia
crossing
that I'm thinking
islands.
of?
Curb extensions are
That
what
has
you saw in
significant,
that
our
last
Cicero area
proposal.
that has significant
Also
pedestrian,
called bump
yeah.
outs.
Yeah, so this would go up into that area, both directions. But
Yeah,
that's
we
not
did-
Comprehensive plan
We,
north of
we can talk about
196
tables,
show
we do
village
not want speed
destination
bumps because
off the Monon.
John will hurt me.
That circle of density that
Um,
we're wanting.
Yes.
Yep.
Like the ones that block.
But,
us.
well,
Crosswalk on top.
mentioning the
Install pedestrian activated mid-block crossing signals,
I like
pedestrian
that one.
trail.
replace replace
there could
four-way
potentially be
intersections with
location in the
roundabouts to
southwest
improve
area with
intersection
more
safety.
rural
Maintain street trees and landscaping for visibility.
Provide. a
Use dark
trail.
sky standards for lighting, balance safety and low light in residential
Me
areas.
personally, I would say, is it an overall priority?
Develop gateway branding.
Big picture, maybe not, so.
So your primary gateway is already done.
People out there probably love it.
in within the
So I would say.
You could have them for districts with it like sub,
Low two.
Kinda like arts
like
and design
secondary
district.
Might
gateways
love
like
it, might
those
not love it
districts
if
in
we
Carmel.
said, yeah, we wanna do
But
this.
the primary,
us
not
15
just
feet to be
at,
able to.
on
We couldn't even get 10
34,
feet on the spike strip to put in
but
a
around
road
the
to the Mona.
community,
Right. Low two,
some places,
I mean-
like I use this example in
Alright.
Fordsville when I was working.
Okay.
They've done a great job
Yeah,
of
we're
branding
moving.
and doing an identity for their neighborhoods.
So the
The
next
community as a
one
whole has
is
nothing,
the
you don't know when you
objective
cross
is
from Lawrence
establish
into
quality
Fordsville.
tree standards. Yeah, it's 4.
So it's the same kind of.
Four. You're going backwards.
Yes, I'm going, yes,
Still
I'm sorry
identity.
about that.
That's not just.
And now that I figured out you're going backwards, now I know.
Establish quality tree standards and natural riparian corridors, preserve, maintain and enhance the natural
Put the
environment.
signs on the
So the
north
first
side.
one, require
Supersede
riparian
paving
corridor
109th
preservation
Street.
and development standards.
Zero support.
I
Dumb
would say
question.
most development,
Does
develop gateway branding would
branding
be the
mean-
developments
does
as
it
they
mean they
come
have to
in,
replace what
we
they
use
break?
it.
No, it means
That was good though.
Development.
That was real good.
It's
Very good.
a
Very good.
designation
We're trying to
of
create
an area
downtown
alongside the
Westfield,
road,
downtown,
right,
Grand
Park.
a
There's
corridor,
different
a
pockets that
stream,
probably could use branding.
and
I mean, so at the end of the day, you're leaving Noblesville into
Yes,
Westfield,
yes.
Carmel into Westfield or
it's
Zionsville.
protecting
into
those
Westfield,
areas and
Sharon
making
into
sure, yes, that they don't.
Westfield. You're in Hamilton County.
But we did
It's
not
not
like
like
with Grand
those
Junction.
areas solid.
Yes.
It's not like
Yes.
it's, like
Remember,
to me,
I feel like
that's
we're always
where
looking towards
damn that
preservation and
stream
certain
with.
things like this.
Yeah.
I one.
High one.
The American side, where's the funding?
So again,
Yeah.
difficulty is just the politics of it.
Makes it
That's
low,
what-
it's easy, no one's gonna be against rocks.
I would
As a
speak for them,
developer
but
for.
I'd probably give it
branding
a, I'd probably
in-
give it a medium and a two.
Sub-districts.
Internal.
Okay,
Sub-districts,
the next
yes.
one, require
I'd probably give it a
preservation of
medium
high
and a
quality
two.
tree
You said
stands and development standards.
No, but low.
How do you
I think
define
the only
that?
place that really needs branding at this
Okay,
point is
so
for
we would have to,
downtown.
we'd
And
have to
even, you know, I
define.
feel
once
that
it's finished.
Downtown.
Yeah.
32 and
Yeah.
141.
It wouldn't be like.
And then, yeah, once the village is a
I
whole.
think a delineation might make sense.
Kind of shoot off
But
the
like
little
trying to
tree
do
stands that
186.
happen.
Oh, yeah.
They have to
Yeah.
be things that were higher in what we call caliper.
Yeah.
So the girth of the tree.
Don't hate on those of us who live in Marion
You do.
County.
Been treated downtown, it's already there.
That's the biggest roundabout we have, I mean.
It might be
Okay.
1.5 to 2.
We're gonna move on to
Standard.
2.2,
Okay.
curving streets and chicanes to slow traffic.
But we would probably, if we're doing preservation, we would ask for larger size, so that they wouldn't be
Yeah.
terribly larger sizes than
They just
that.
don't do it.
Because those are the
We've
most
gotten
valuable.
some.
We just talked about this tonight,
start spitting stuff
there's
out.
concern around that right outside.
Yeah.
High one for me personally.
Well, like, I would say in my
There's a whole
whatever,
population
6
out
years
on
of
the
this,
west side
I've
of
seen more
Kimballwood that
curved
would have
streets
loved to have been in
than
this
I
discussion.
Well,
I think
and-
We gave them
Yeah.
200 feet of trees, what do you want?
promoting that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that
This is,
there's
I
our,
mean,
Yeah.
this has come up a lot.
that's our poster child example out there that we need to be thinking of as we're
I have
figuring
a
this
lot
out.
of
Chicanes.
trees behind my
Yeah.
house, that of course would love to preserve.
That's
I don't
funny.
think
Oh, yeah, I
England
got
happens in the
tarps
future,
that are
just
run
based
out
on
on
wetlands.
clubhouse on that.
But that is something I would like to see in the future,
So-
that if we have,
I think
we
they're,
have a
I think it's
control.
important. I mean, both, I think. 2.2,
So you said a high one, H1?
Yeah, I'm agreed, I'm good with high one.
Okay.
Are we real slow
They're
there?
kind
Are we
of-
going
What's a
slow
mid-block crossing?
compared to the other people?
So-
Are we going slow compared to them?
Between Matt.
We're thorough.
We're going backwards.
I know where you're at, but I don't know.
Where are the ice cream
Here's
places?
our second
No, I
one,
would
yeah.
agree that this is kind of.
He's
describing a place,
They started
I know.
going.
Right.
I mean,
No, it's, so it's an area where
So
there's
just making you feel
not
good?
an intersection,
Something
but
more of that?
pedestrians need
So we're
to
about
be
right, if
able
we
to get
had
across
something
the
that still.
street.
It'd
And
be
we
like
activate the
be a
crossing,
really
it
field
stops
development.
traffic, like at Midland
I'd have
Trails.
to-
Yeah, like
But
on
It
the
wants this to be
trails.
such an uber high intensity important
You know,
thing
when you're
that.
shopping at like
Okay, I think
Yeah, it's a crosswalk that you activate a
So we're
signal.
talking about something
You would
different
see
than a
in
crosswalk,
development.
we're just talking about
It's a
crosswalk, right?
crosswalk with no.
With the
It's a cooler
signal.
name.
It's nice.
Mid-block
Standards of
crossing signal.
preservation, and it pushes it
So when people
developer.
walk up to it,
It's a
to see
four
Wait,
on the developer
so-
side.
you hear the
That
beep,
might
beep, beep.
Well, and so my
issue with
position would
that
be, it
is
needs to
'cause
be
I
written in
actually
such a
like
way
it,
where that's our
But
standard,
like,
but
now
for
we're
certain
in a
limitations, they're
situation where we
outs.
have people
Yeah,
stop.
there are
and
nuances.
want
There has to be
stuff and then
outs.
people not.
Right,
So-
because our eye is always
If you
future,
do it
those
with a
outs, we talk
signal,
about that all the
though.
time, right? But there are
So
sometimes
They
where it's
should be
not
stopping, yeah.
possible, yeah.
Cause my guess is
And
people.
those houses will simply be very.
But-
Now remember, this is
Yeah.
only.
No,
in-
We're
in
actually
Clay
pretty
Terrace, it
good
automatically
about
goes
it
on.
on,
It's
on
not
Hazel
law.
Drive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
In
some of them are
principle,
motion
we
detected, some of them are like
Yes.
push your dummy
It's better than the
buttons.
Hawk system.
It's better,
Do you
right.
plan on
Thanks,
putting
Mark.
those
We're
in?
gonna press
Tell me the
it
rules.
out.
At key locations
Yeah.
where like,
Yeah.
so think about there's one spot on the boundary with
Sure.
Noblesville where the
Yeah, that's right.
path literally stops.
Point three, let's do it.
middle of the block, there's nothing going on. Past that is private and
the city
older development there.
Low,
The rest of the.
no, I
trails
think it's
are-
hard, I think it's,
actually hard,
I think it's hard, I think it's three.
So you would
I think
get,
you'd
you
have
would
a
get
hard
people
time
across
convincing
the
the public that we
street
need a.
safely by stopping the
I would
cars,
say an
because there's
L3.
not an intersection where they're
L3?
gonna stop it.
Okay.
And it just gives people an opportunity.
It's like 161st with.
You're
the-
explaining you're losing, it's my political, but then I.
No, so-
You're explaining you're
You
losing.
actually have to push
Urban
the button.
Forester would be the
Or
one
like-
that would work both in
At
the
146,
as well as
that
Cars
would-
go,
kinda
you can
help
figure out how to get across the
evaluate
street.
development plans.
Although I tell you,
So
Little Rock got hit in front of my office by a car.
Determine the health.
And they couldn't decide who was going first, or she was
I'm
going
with you, I say
identify,
2.2 and 2.3 are high.
the existing
It's all
stock
impressive.
of trees,
Block crossings,
you know,
it's
what
like
are good trees to
being-
have,
that's
what are
lower
bad
median.
trees to have.
I don't know, if I
help
hadn't seen that little
coordinate
guy
with
get hit by a
developers
car,
on what
probably
happening in
think differently.
development.
That's just me,
And
but for
if
kids,
they're
I guess,
looking at trees to
you
go
had a kid
on
crossing it,
along,
they probably-
I mean, there's
like drainage
crosswalks where
and
they're
utility
supposed to be, but
easements
adding
versus
them in the
street
middle of the
key
street,
trees
I
and
don't
things like that.
Only
is
when
really
you've got like a
also
half
what to
mile
do
between
with
crossings,
So-
so if
so,
you didn't.
Joey,
pestis-
we're
like pesticides.
between Oak Ridge Road and
Pests.
Spring Hill Road.
And then, you know, how the
So
city
Spring
needs
Hill
to
Crossing
handle
on the south side
them.
of the
So that's
road,
what
and
that,
then even
Seems to me
out
like that
doing
would be
inspections
crossing
and
there.
there's
a consultant coming in,
People
with
cross there all
the
day.
parks
And that's
director
what's
and
been
a
happening back and
survey,
forth,
yeah.
back and forth.
Cardinal
Because
does
you gotta
this
go
under
all the
their
way down to
environmental planning
Spring Hill
department,
Road,
and so
and
there's like a
all the way
caveat
Oak
to
Ridge
that
Road
too.
and come back around and
Public
get to
access.
Yeah.
So they're always
Texas,
crossing.
have 100.
I mean, it would be
That's a
select
pretty good-
Because
locations.
down there,
And there's no roundabout.
people come in no higher than third.
I would say,
Trees
I would say
and
5
dogs.
times out of 10 I go to the
Because they really love their trees, my working life, I work for Steiner.
Is there a maybe?
Yeah.
On the west side.
depends.
We can add
Neutral,
more
right.
detail around
Referred to the
it.
century oak trees, that we
Um,
built the buildings, to be
So
sure,
those are
the drip
pretty
edge and all the
easy.
things that.
On
all these people
on
there said,
2.2
"You
and
can't do this."
2.3, what level of difficulty
They
would
list
you
this where you
assign
can't
this?
do.
So when you use curved streets or chicane, slow down
We were
traffic,
actually
curving
gonna
streets
bring
is
to the
new
community
development,
that
right?
maybe-
That's a
Mhm.
policy that we already have in place. What is the priority to me?
Anything that they
Is
found
that I think
objectionable.
that's like a medium
That's so
priority and
far
level of
over.
difficulty,
I mean, these were really nice
one,
trees.
because we already do
Beautiful,
that,
provided by
right?
shade.
Like, that's a policy we have. in
Golly,
place.
They drove way too much.
Yeah.
You cling on to them.
That one is-
You gotta pick my son up, I'll be back.
Okay.
They need to be well managed.
The traffic calming methods
Austin
from a
too,
public,
that
like
have
literally
users
what's our
have
goal is to make sure people are safe in our community, that seems like a high priority.
Still think we're there.
Well, and to Bob's
And
point, I mean, we're all
difficulty seems
diligent
pretty
about
low.
don't kill the investment, but I think this
I
body
really
is
had
also
never
very
thought about
diligent
the
about, but
mid-block
show us a tree line
crossings, cause the only one I
preservation,
think
show us
of
these
is
different
Hazeldale
things,
over
so
here,
in
and
terms
I
of
always am like,
maintaining and
that's so
keeping
weird.
trees, it's
Or
one
where
thing.
the trail
I
crosses there by
Put it on
mine.
the developer,
on
I remember
Spring
the
Hill.
townhomes
Right,
off
that's,
of,
like, those are
it was
the
on
two
the
that
side
I
of
think
town,
of,
there
and
was
I
a
almost
trails
scared to
upgrade,
death on the
there's
one
one
on
in my too
Spring
far
Hill.
east. And they were bringing in
Yeah.
some consultant to
Yeah.
determine
I
what
wonder if
trees
any of
were.
everyone
Yeah.
just
This thing's
were
sketchy.
traffic.
But
Yeah.
see, those are.
Right along our very
Right.
eastern border.
Select
I get
locations.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And so they were bringing in their own arborologist to determine like
Yeah.
viability
Yeah.
versus
That
replacement,
one
cause
by
again,
her.
we said we want to
Yeah.
maintain a tree line.
I mean, I've seen
And
ambulance.
some of those were not native and so determine the nativity of
Oh,
it
just
versus
bring
the
them
other
up.
side of it.
I
I
like,
think
I
it's
mean,
easier
like,
for us to say keep it and then
Also,
do
that's
things
traffic
decide how to
calming,
keep it.
I
Right.
got an interesting perspective on that, so.
Low three. Low three.
Okay, so the next one, plant new tree stands for future generations of Westfield.
I was.
Watched a lot of traffic through our neighborhood, which was never designed for.
I won.
Have a little bit of an older neighborhood now. And
You
it
think it's
doesn't
hard to build
have
trees?
any traffic
Not
calming mechanism
in
at all. It's
terms
like there's a main road that goes through our neighborhood.
overall maybe funding or planning or whatever, that's the reason why I went towards two, but
By St. Mary Grady?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well, roundabouts aren't
Limited texture
necessarily for
knowledge, what is
traffic
our minimum
calming, they're for
caliper of
improving
tree
traffic
pursuant
flow
to the UDO?
and reducing crashes. They're
That is
different.
two.
There it is.
You're right,
Said one.
right.
Alright, look at us.
That was the question of just, not to change it, but like we say, earlier, we said high quality tree stands, how do you
Not
define
being able to
high
see
quality?
like 300.
What was that one?
Yeah, and I'd only
I
request
won.
the busy four-way intersections, I wouldn't spend $6 million.
Okay, so now
Yeah,
we're
it's
on.
not intended
The
for
thing is that every time we wait, we just get more.
So,
Like, it's not gonna
so
stop.
the objective here is encourage developments and industries that integrate agriculture, including agritourism and agri-neighborhoods and parks.
100% agree with you.
So the first one, establish development standards for
Yeah.
It's like, how many roundabouts do we need?
Are we really talking about agri-neighborhoods?
We needed one at.
We
need
at least
I
one
mean, if you
more than
need
Carmel
to be
has
one
at
more
all
than
times.
Carmel, then it's 162 right
You know where?
Please
I
don't. But it's like,
No, thank you.
I do think it's overkill, I think that there's
Medium
too
two?
many, I think they need to be
Medium
designated
two.
for high traffic areas that really need them.
I think a medium two.
Medium
The one that kills me is kind of the
I guess it depends on what you
Illinois,
put that next to. Yeah. If you put it next to
uh,
Chatham Hills, it's gonna be a 7, you know, but if you put it somewhere,
Yes,
yeah, it's gonna be
in
impossible
Illinois, but
location,
Illinois
yeah,
doesn't
medium
go
2.
through the
So
way
wait,
you think
okay.
you
I'm
probably
sorry,
say
hold on,
between
Billy has not.
No, it's
fine.
third exit to stay on Illinois. And on my
There's an
bike,
agri-neighborhood
I always
just
get it
another
wrong,
3
yeah.
or 4.
Driving, I'm less likely to get it wrong, but on my bike.
No.
And that is one in Carmel.
Well, it looks like it'd be, so.
Yeah,
those
I,
yes,
I don't like
those
those ones.
That's
It's literally
literally
you're
going through two
at the
same time.
I used to drive right over
The
it.
dog bones.
Like, why not? At that point.
Within the center, like Nelson Wilder's and they're
And the
turning
people
butter.
that are living in
Oh,
the
when they get
neighborhood
over
are
ground.
helping
Yeah,
out and
making
saying,
sure you're maintaining the site triangle at intersections, not having overgrown
Well,
stuff.
and the Monon at.
Okay, so the next one.
6.
But that,
Like
to
Monon.
clarify, sorry.
There's
No,
a
it's
bunch
okay.
of stuff.
No,
I followed.
think
These
that's pretty high
agri-neighborhoods
priority because you
have
get those trees
essentially
in the way,
an
you can see where
agricultural
you're going.
element
It's biker.
to the neighborhood.
That one's really,
It could be-
really
It's not high
difficult.
cost, right?
Could
It's
be-
easy.
Guards
No,
throwing
send
in
Chris
corn
out
crop.
there with-
Yeah,
Yeah,
kindergarten.
send-
Probably beyond that.
send the boys out there for 2 days
So like,
and it'll be
almost like
fine.
We would need to check on
subsistence,
It would be.
subsistence farm where they're running
When,
that
do
to
you remember when
themselves?
you think you
Or could
did
they be
that?
using it for sale, doesn't matter?
They could be using it for
They
sale.
could sell it,
They
sell it?
could, they would do things like farm to table restaurant there in the
Yeah.
development.
That's official that we had passed.
You can't
that.
say anything, but like, that's a real
Yeah.
use that could
I
happen.
think that's a priority and level of difficulty.
How are these things regulated?
And just
If I'm gonna
because
go
I
to a
think.
farm, we're gonna write
standards.
We write we
We're gonna
write
standards.
standards.
I mean, there's
You're gonna be that agri-neighborhoods are.
With all the.
I mean, to your point, there's gotta be some like beyond us health
So,
code.
Yeah, this is-
well,
yeah.
Theron
Wasn't
Beach
the development on Town
in
Road
Georgia
originally one
Entrance light or
is,
lights with
Jenny
one of the
Keller
most
came in and they
famous
talked about what it was
Yeah.
like.
Oh, HOA.
It was
Yeah.
like originally before Alcoa fires.
Right.
Got their own claims to permit.
City.
Okay, so the next one,
Yeah.
And they wanna say move over and then pay for the
with
electric bill.
large landowners west of Little Eagle
you go
Creek
in
to
Merrimack,
plan
you're all-
development that
Yeah.
includes agricultural elements.
You did, yeah.
I was gonna say.
They're great for a few years when they're working, aren't they?
I'd say lighting only had like major 163rd Street.
So I don't agree with the importance, but I'm pretty sure we're just passing.
Okay.
Difficulty for
Let
me
me
is
check,
one.
look at
There's like
that.
a lighting standard.
Someone
I'd say
keeps
medium
hitting the
two.
one outside
Little
my
medium two?
house, but
What
it's
do we do?
preventing.
I like riding the fence on these things.
We did,
It is kind of like a medium.
Are we just blanket saying Little Eagle
I
Creek or
think we
like
did
what
high
portion? Like-
one.
Hold on, like,
There's
so
not
do we
much,
have a
there's
line?
not much left except.
That's my point, yeah, there's like,
That's the only
especially
area.
south
It's
of
so light in
32.
the summertime now when everybody's
Right.
out.
Right, and then you forget that in 3
How much
months
of that
it's
is
gonna
already
be
approved
pitch
by right?
black.
I know, God.
I started my run at 5 o'clock in the morning
Because
on
they've gotta come to the
Saturday
city.
on Zionsville's rail trail,
Wanna
and let
do
me
this,
tell
and
you,
I don't
it's
think we're
dark
going
on some segments.
Reaching this to be done.
I
Dark,
don't
I
disagree,
mean, I
but
had
we were
lights
also
and it's
talking
still
last I
dark.
heard about trying to activate
So,
our
yeah,
ability
lights.
to build
I
meaningful
actually have a waste light. I don't
mixed use
like
development, so proximity to the executive
comprehensive
airport.
trail plan for trail
And
development
that's also
and
this
design.
property and these pieces of property that we're talking about, so if we say we're gonna help people, like, that's counterintuitive to what I
The
thought.
year-built
So
material
it's-
condition
As I've been
maintenance,
describing
Not
this
yet.
overall concept process, it's kind of like an echo. So using Little Eel Creek Avenue area as the first ripple, but coming out from there, it gets more.
Not on trails.
Or
Mhm.
however.
I don't think.
Maintenance ownership came up
And then
on
we're
that.
echoing back out, rippling back out to the airport area.
Oh,
where
the
it
trail
could be
close
more
to where
mixed
we're in,
use, where essentially a town road is, so.
Most of those folks out there really like what they have and they really don't want anything different.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
try to encourage something to happen.
where would you put the
You're gonna be
level of
talking to folks
difficulty?
who are just not interested.
Yeah,
So-
Does,
I mean,
does
that's
this come
what
out
I
then?
think, coming from the
This
MTO,
action
but
step?
just do it.
Remove it? Thought we had it.
We went from high one to remove it.
Well,
Um,
I don't.
Township
There-
wide?
township
I
wide.
think that if you wanna think about what is this community gonna look like in 20 years, you
Pieces
certainly
of
wanna see
trail.
rooftops everywhere.
Trails.
Could, yeah,
So
could you make a
you
note
need to be at
on
least
here and say, are these,
Thinking about how
like,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, we
Oh,
already
you
did
did, I'm
this.
a
sorry.
little
Thank you.
varied, and this would be something that would.
I don't-
I thought that would very.
For-
Well, see if you can find
It was
somebody
done
who
at a
wants to
point
do it.
It was done at a
I
point,
agree
but
with
it
something
maybe
where we were
need to
talking
be.
about to revisit
updated.
certainly not give a lot of
Okay.
urgency
agree with
and
the sense of that piece.
have any expectation that it's gonna make a dent in it.
If you look at this map,
Like
like,
into
how
And
much
it's probably
this
cost
your
like
point,
$600,000 for that.
this
stuff.
Yeah.
No, not for the study. We do them.
I
do it for further out west.
For
as
more.
we get-
Great shape.
It's cold in here
So
today.
cold, I know.
et cetera. It's that ripple of, okay, there's the
So,
common place for everything.
In the name
but
trail
respectful to
network,
what's already there,
primary, so there's
and this
three
element
named
might be
trails that
included.
are
So,
owned and maintained by
back to
this.
medium two,
Medium two
medium two, alright.
Monon, Midland Trace, and Cool Creek.
or L two.
The only one that has real
Right,
gaps
in between.
Yep.
is Midland
L
Trace,
and two.
especially to the west.
Okay, so the next one,
Then in
plan
the
for
perimeter
continued
trail
operation
network,
and
there are
expansion of
gaps anytime
agribusinesses
you
in the
have something
community.
that isn't a new
So
development.
places like Stuckey's.
I love studies and other type of activities like that.
I think these should be on two separate lines because
I one, medium two for me.
building out the name trail.
I think it's a high one. I don't think
to the
people
west goes nowhere.
hate Stuckey's. I
One
don't think
to
they
the east
hate
goes
that
to
we
Nobles.
expanded it.
Well, and people think
One of
that
the
Stuckey's
trail
is in
goes to
Sheridan
goes
just
to
because of the
Vermont.
address, but it's in Westfield.
Type thing.
So I think we need to lean
Going
into
west
that
doesn't
more.
go anywhere, and once you get to the
Plan
border,
for or
it's not gonna
support.
go anywhere until Boone County.
I mean, that-
And they're probably not gonna do anything. for
I'm
a
not
long
sure
time.
you can,
Yeah.
you
I
can
would
find
say for the main
people
trails,
to do that.
it's
That's
a
when
lower
you're planning
priority.
this. How can
Perimeter trails, I'd say
support,
it's
you
a
got
higher
people.
priority.
I like that word
I
better.
support them.
Well, and I would say too,
Buy all
there's
that right away.
examples
They bought that one
of
across the.
agribusinesses that have
Little
integrated
airport
well with
runway
the
on
surrounding
Road.
community,
Could be like a
like urban
$70,000
apples, like
Mhm.
urban vine even,
That's
what is
crazy.
done, so I
You know what I'm
think
talking about?
Yeah.
to strictly call
And
that
the
out.
nursery, yeah, the nursery, yeah.
Yeah, to strictly call that out versus just saying,
And then the
much
whole
like I think
water.
we've said before, the private market will best determine where to put that business based off of their own
Yeah.
metrics.
Um,
We just need to know if we
level of
support where they're
difficulty,
bringing it.
Yeah, so I would almost say, alright, going back
Perimeter
to,
trails high,
cause the discussion
You
on
got
stuff
right away.
right,
et cetera.
Especially
My thought
going
feelings
west.
Towards those.
So I'm-
could be
I'm
applied
splitting that
also
There's
to
a lot
four,
we've
so
looked
it's almost
into
like we
it.
can
There's a
just
lot of
name
way that they need to
three,
get there.
Yeah.
They-
and that just kind of rolled into
We don't know
three
what it's
four,
for.
which then
Hmm.
is
Good at-
Yeah, I
I
agree.
agree.
Oh, yeah,
Just
like
make it a high
past,
one.
I won.
Done.
school is nice.
Look at you guys.
Three, going on to three,
Going on to two, confusing.
going on to two.
It's been a while.
Trail design standards.
Okay,
This
so
is
this
again
one is
separating, like,
invest in local recreational facilities and
we add the
programming
golf
for
cart
residents
element,
of all ages, abilities
done,
and interests.
not on the name
So the
trails,
first
but
one,
on the
plan,
other
fund and
trails.
open a community
Um,
recreation center.
Well,
Brownsburg's
on
getting
some
the
of them.
crap kicked out of them on this one right now.
They are.
Um,
100% getting
There are
absolutely.
places where
Go for
golf
it,
carts
Margo.
could not pass each other, a golf cart could
I'm
not
conflicted just
safely pass someone
because
using a
Fishers is
stroller,
opening
wheelchair.
theirs, we know what
or
Carmel
anything
has, we
else,
know what our
and
neighbors
so
have.
thinking
I
about
do hear from
modernizing
residents
the
in
trail
community
design
of, you know, why isn't there
standards.
a community
Make them wider
pool,
so that more
recreational
passing can
space or
happen.
whatever it is.
Or
Well,
des-
the main
designed
trails
in
are already
such a way.
12 foot
But
wide.
just how expensive
Golf
things
carts, 40
continue to
years.
get you have to fold that into the overall
On a
discussion.
golf cart, I don't
you
wanna
can
sit
you can
some
run
someone
about
else's.
3 or 4
Infrastructure and safety
Yeah.
or?
That's
I definitely think it's a 4,
you're talking about-
regardless of where we put it. I think it's
I've
gonna be
already
very
talked
hard,
to-
we're gonna
Because
get,
there's so many different.
Cabins.
I think a 4 for sure. It's gonna be one of the hardest things we do.
Perimeter
And maybe
shelf line.
medium
Yeah, this is
priority
kind of a
necessary to
general-
be evaluated, but at the same time, like, again, I understand Grand
Yeah,
Prairie.
and there's
And
some
there's not a paving company in the
Yeah, all
world
these
that
other
isn't gonna be
communities
proud
have
of you
these
for that
recreational
decision.
centers and then you have a
If you
400
could just
acre
start making
megaplex
them
of
half road
recreation.
width
Which
wide,
they don't.
they're every paving
Which
company
none of
does.
them.
I think the difficulty
Well,
is
and I
too,
think-
number one, you gotta get the funding to fix.
I don't know if it's an
what
intentional decision or not,
But
but I
then
feel like
you also gotta write that
Westfield
in.
historically has gone.
Yeah, and more.
Well, if you write it into your SEO or your UDO, then you don't need to
Cross
write it
section on
into.
those is almost as good as a cross section in subdivisions.
Yeah.
Streets.
Time goes on.
Subdivision
But you can't drive on
They're just
it.
becoming.
But
Don't drive
subdivision-
on it.
But subdivision
Good
streets
point.
should be built like,
Is that-
Thicker,
are
yeah.
we
because all the
burdening
factory
now
trucks,
our
all the delivery
residents
trucks, all the
that
everything,
problem
Yeah.
the
and
trash
not
trucks that come
providing
in there,
with the community
everything.
Well,
asset?
Plus we own,
The
we own a golf
standard
cart.
is-
We invested in other different types of amenities that we chose to do.
So, man, that's right, I mean, that's where I think some of this is.
on that
Can
discussion.
we say instead evaluate and
Priority.
community, take off planned, funded, open,
I
and
would say
say
it's,
evaluate?
I think really established
community
trail
center.
design is really really established trails.
What's the purpose in evaluating if you're not going to then?
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's the other reason why Brown
That's what
Bear's
this
getting
is
the
talking
credit.
about, is
They'll
updating
spend all
the
this,
rules.
spend all this money to design one,
Yeah.
and the public probably gonna come against it.
Yeah.
Well, we could say.
I saw one the other day, it was an
complete a
electric
feasibility
bike
study.
with a sidecar.
Well, it could also.
Yeah,
be
you
seen that one yet?
complete-
Oh my god,
The next.
that was bigger than a golf cart.
Master plan.
And you got clipped in between it?
Well, thinking through that.
There's
to
got
your
an
point,
engineering
we're
department in
burdening
Carmel that has one of those, he takes his kid for
the
a ride all the
residents
time.
through the HOA, but if we go and build a community center, especially in this new legislative level funding, how are we gonna pay for it by
Kevin
decrease of
commutes
impact
on one.
fees? So are you burning them up
Double
front or are you
tap.
burning them in perpetuity? Or both?
I mean, just kids
We're
are
not gonna change our
too
standards.
big. Yeah.
Because we added a new recreation
That's
center.
not right with you, Dad.
Like, I'm not gonna vote
No,
for you.
no, no.
One of my friends put, she has
Social
one of
groups,
the
but I have
cargo
not heard
bin
anybody
bikes,
ever.
and she
was
picked
at
up her
Colorado,
nephew's
no,
bike
Since
from
the early 2000s.
the state
community
fair and
center.
took it home in her
In her
bin
bin.
on her
Community
electric
center
bike,
here. I
yeah.
mean,
I love this.
You always
bin.
get
I
to
don't
high
have
school,
one.
or you get someplace where you need to have
I'm a
community meetings.
spandex
And
roadie
otherwise, you're
junkie,
paying a lot of
so.
maintenance fees for something that I don't think is a
Wayfinding
lot.
signage on
These won't
trails
make
give
money. It will never be net.
directions to
Survey
destinations.
or something.
So people can be on the
Go
nature
for
trace
it.
and not even know how
You do a feasibility
Main
study and then
Junction
everybody wants to
or
Taj
any
Mahal
of the
of this,
restaurants
and then
in
you go and say,
town.
okay,
I
and
might
we're
think
raising
it's a
your
high
property
priority
tax by
things to
6
do.
cents.
Right.
I think
Good luck.
And admittedly, it has
Google
been
Maps and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you could map yourself.
the younger
You can
families and just
You
wanting
give
a place to
Google
take their
Maps and
kids.
they'll add
Which is funny.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we're playing with
No,
bike
And they'll- and they'll
but
do
it should
that
be
on the
by
trail.
GAN,
So it's interesting to
cause
even
not
just like the
everyone
difference
wants
in-
to pull
Yeah,
out their
yeah, well,
GoPro
and I think that's
when
just
they're
with anything
active,
when it comes
and
to
most people shouldn't
I
be
mean, when I
biking
think of
with
community
their
center, I'm
phone.
going
Yeah,
back
or
to
driving your
crocheting
golf
and
cart
bridge.
with your phone, yeah.
Right, that's
That's
what I think
Bikes
of.
have them right
That's
there.
really terrible,
No,
and that's not
I
on the
just
record.
have an experience
I said
with
that.
people
But
driving
it's-
on
but
the
it's very,
road in
very-
their
yeah, it
cars
is.
with their phone.
But it doesn't
Yeah,
prevent
that-
like,
there's-
I understand.
So this one is
I know
gonna
there's
be
a birding club there, I'll
controversial.
look at
He's trying to pay for the social at Kennewick, they won't let him in
I was gonna say, we haven't lost more trails, so.
Interactive elements
love
are
farm,
and
but,
unique lighting
I
on
wanna go back to
trails.
Kevin's point.
My
briefly real
opinion,
quick
Trails are a
about
chance to get
HOAs
connected with
and
nature.
unique expenses
That
and so
doesn't
forth,
belong here.
because I do contemplate that sometimes.
That belongs downtown, that belongs.
Would it be better off of
That doesn't belong.
not having such
Like that.
high
Those
amenities in general within new neighborhoods,
Thermoplastic
instead
amenities.
centralizing
Right.
it to where it's a lower.
Oh, that'd be
sort of
help-
Yeah.
if it's helps with safety.
for said
Yeah, I would
residents.
say for safety.
Yeah,
that's a
safety.
goal.
Right.
Center line down
If
the
someone
road.
wants to pull
Yeah, 'cause those trails get
access
really
to
dark.
Yeah.
They do, actually
is-
do it.
well, then there's a center.
They did it in
Why
one
do
of
it
the
that way?
indie
Me
parks.
specifically,
Wait, aren't we, so-
area
you're not
to
supposed to
dues,
be on the
we
trail
have a
after
pool,
dark,
we have
though, right?
whatever.
Oh, I guess it's.
It's
city
a
park.
policy
They-
choice.
Back
We
to
stayed out too
that-
late one time and
that
had to ride
choice,
behind
you know,
the
that
trail.
option.
It was scary.
And then whether
I've
it's
done it
the
plenty of times
city
writing and
or
writing.
And you get all those bugs hitting in the
I
face.
would never do
laughed
that.
when-
It's too
Yeah.
dark.
I laughed when
It's
too scary
Poe
for me.
left me a
Choice of,
love
I want
letter
to
for
be
being at a
plowed,
trailhead.
the money.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in in the fall when it gets dark, starts getting dark
Go for it.
fast at night, you forget about it.
So the next one is
And I
a build
it's
out
just
program
like,
for
this
each
one
of the
Carmel
local
gets me
parks.
tickets
H1.
for that. I'm gonna laugh and be
single one?
so proud of myself.
I'd say it's low.
Even the passive ones?
Well,
my opinion,
even
low.
with passive parks, you have
It's difficult.
a plan
Funded by who?
regarding to programming.
Yeah.
Funded by who, ran by who?
Programming might be no program.
Yeah.
Kind of what I was thinking. The program is to have.
So many other
Especially with some of the
places.
social
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get grants for some of
And it
it
does itself.
depending on
The-
what's
It's
going
not hard
on.
to
It's
plan,
not
it's
grants
certainly
for
easy to fund.
anything right now.
It's the ones you have to plan and actually
Public
pay for.
education about safe trail use.
So what is this?
And the difficulty is
Just me
high.
personally, H1 because of my involvement.
Compliance is high.
Do you have
Say,
some history
me
with that
too.
one?
Fine.
I'm out.
Oh, you're leaving now?
Medium
I'm
two.
with you, Mike.
We gotta start it.
Medium two? Medium two.
Last page of transportation,
go.
and it's
Come on,
only got
let's
two
go.
on it. And then we'll give you housing. Sutter, but this one's about
H1,
different
H1,
options
Add
between
additional parking.
important
Yeah.
commercial and entertainment destinations.
Next one.
Do a
H1,
shuttle or
H1.
trolley service
Yeah.
between Grand Park and downtown during major events.
Programming related to natural
Huh?
resources.
Medium two.
Indianapolis has
Ski lift.
ski lift.
Come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
I'm still, we didn't hang,
Oh,
no.
what's the car do you
Scooter
get in?
trails and parks and
Yeah.
bicycle and pedestrian network.
I might have that.
I remember when Grand Park pitch was coming through, and that was like Steve's whole freaking dream was to have like the ching bikes with the wheel guys
Can we
going
write
on
cart
it.
lanes?
Oh, Jimmy's?
That you pay
Rich
50
Dog
bucks to
style,
take you
Rich
I
Dog.
heard that coming
Yeah,
up.
Rich,
It's a high priority, can we just call it a 2 though,
Huh?
given the fact that some trail systems do go through
I've seen,
neighborhoods and
yeah.
other places?
H2.
H2.
Yeah.
H2O.
Okay,
Okay.
last page.
It takes you one. and then
Last one.
And then are we swapping and then doing theirs in the next half hour?
No, we're doing
We're gonna do those.
Right.
We're gonna do economic development.
Literally my project in Leadership Academy.
Well, that'll be a snap.
We got.
There's only
Leadership
three.
team,
You
this
have to have
is
some on
usually
slide.
late for us.
Alright.
That could be a private service
Yeah.
one, the last
You
one.
did trolley, you just hired a private
Communicate
service
and
to do it
celebrate
on
local
the events,
history
just
by
like you.
continually
Mhm.
developing
And the
public
thing
art and
is,
placement
with what they're
initiatives.
trying to do with Grand Park.
So the first one, develop a mural program aligned with the arts master plan.
Grand Park, they're gonna stay there.
Medium two. Maybe something ahead of that that says develop an arts master plan.
Well,
We
you
have
are
one
right
that-
now.
Yeah.
It says it's being developed right now.
I have a love-hate relationship with public art. Cause I don't like just like a fork stuck in the middle of
And if you
a
draw
roundabout. I want something meaningful, right? I do, I really do, and that's probably part of the plan, right, is to make it or keep
Maybe.
it.
Who are you to determine what art?
No.
It probably comes, who owns it, who maintains
Hey,
it.
Mike and I have great taste, so just leave it up to us.
Do you like the
Have
fork?
like maybe a
Yeah.
crow flies,
It'd be
if
okay,
you're gonna do it,
depending
you're gonna have to
upon-
come down.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
your own
I want a
own.
roundabout like they have at Rangeline 31.
Well, could you get it to cross on
Big,
32
nice,
now?
cool,
You
whatever.
can.
Some of those, I met the people that built
Yeah.
You could go along.
stuff, they also cost.
And then you have the two eyes just staring at it. Yeah, right there.
That's it.
Okay, so number two, support public art at Grand Park.
Yeah.
I mean, the high
Historic
school kids
sports
run
history
from the
and
school to
outdoor
the natatorium.
But it's happening.
We could do one across 31, right by the football
Oh,
stadium.
that's so safe.
So are we saying this is a low priority and high
Plus,
difficulty?
across the street, there's gonna be huge spaceships in the middle of every single roundabout.
That's your next
Anyway.
project.
We already had a bike share downtown.
I mean, low,
Sports. No, what I'm saying is,
What did
there
you
are,
work
and
about?
there are things like that, right?
if there's
that are coming.
already an
I
intent
agree.
of a regulating plan to do that, I guess what
I
I'm
think
saying.
the bike
is we
share at
need to
Grand
talk
Park
about
could be
it if
used
it
by
works.
visitors.
Strike it.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
it's a new
A
development.
bigger baseball bat than what the Slugger, bigger than what the Slugger Museum has.
I know, I went to Dallas to visit my son, and there were scooters like.
Westfield Slugger?
Like no one puts them away, it was just like.
I would.
Okay. Nice strike.
People to drive them down, cause I don't wanna
Okay.
get off.
Coordinate the work of local organizations in the schools for youth
try to
engagement
educate
in
them on the
agriculture, Quaker, and
I would start at
underground
Grand
railroad
Park and then
history.
if you need to go, but it just makes more sense at Grand Park to me, 'cause you've got so many.
That's,
people
I think
downtown.
it's, that's the thing, like,
would
would
Ursula
Ursula
wanna
wanna
put-
put,
would Ursula wanna put
bikes up there?
To forget our history would be tragic.
That's true,
So
but
for
you're
me,
just.
But you can also come, just
On
make
a
it
bike,
stay
though, it's not
within a
like-
certain.
You can
Oh,
do
yeah,
that.
that's
That's what we had,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what we did at Ball
this is
State,
talk-
we have
like talking about
scooters at Ball
engagement.
State and they can't leave.
Not education.
Yeah.
They die.
You do have those
It's just a
geotech.
What if they don't wanna farm?
Yeah,
I don't wanna farm.
It has to die right next to Ursula's next restaurant.
So,
There you go.
and then there's
That's-
also some that you can make
What's it called?
you have to,
Oh,
put
FFA.
them like
FFA.
in
In a
a
geofence
spot.
area, Grand Rapids does an
Well,
amazing
That's not
job.
coming.
You have to like park it in a certain spot.
take a picture of it.
And either take a picture of it
We should
or
really lean into that as well.
you keep paying.
And we're gonna have
Grand
it.
Rapids, the geofence.
Geofence, yeah, Ball State
Yeah,
has that too.
where you don't have to do a picture, but it has to be
Okay, we're
in
on
the
the housing.
painted
That's a
area.
medium.
Wait, did we assign priority on?
I can live with an H1.
Okay, they're like, let's
All I
go.
did was take.
They're ready for the
On
next
housing,
Main Street.
we'll start,
Houses are done, we've already started.
we're starting with
I
one
saw
point
those
one.
houses on North Main. It's fascinating.
These aren't, this isn't a PowerPoint, and it's not intended to be used as a
Well, under,
that
underneath
way.
Erica's.
much of a topic.
That
Yeah.
was a
It's an exercise.
connected project.
So 1.1.
But like, on
The
the fourth
objective
house up on the
is
left, right next to
regulatory
the
and
walking
zoning
trail into the park.
modernization to
They still
provide
got
housing
the underground
opportunities.
railroad connection in their basement.
It's really cool.
So the first one is
So,
construction
the
of
Brooks-
accessory dwelling
vegetable
units
people.
in appropriate
Right there.
zones. So
One,
support that through the unified
1.4.
development ordinance.
Yes.
Can you give
Feature
me
the
one
local
example
history and
of
interactive
an
public
appropriate
art along the
residential
named
zone
trail.
for an accessory dwelling unit?
Yeah, I need help.
If you're
medium one.
got a
Medium
large
one?
I don't think it's hard to
lot,
do.
No, it's
I
not.
think people would think it's cool.
large enough
Somebody's gotta
lot
wanna do
But I don't know
area
how high
where
priority
you
it
could
is.
build a
So
small
maybe medium,
or
medium
over
one.
garage
Medium
unit.
one.
Alright, so
That would be
organize
for
for
what, the rest
rest
or
city
just
celebration.
for your extra-
So
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you build it,
History
like
and assets.
people call them mother-in-law flats or call them other things. Once you build it, you really don't have
That's what you're
control
talking
over
about?
how the
Basically
owner
moved
does
them
it.
up and built something in there.
Oh, I thought it was
So
like
if
if
I
you
wanted to
wanted, I
add
wanted
like
to build a garage in my
Two bedroom,
backyard
one
with my
bathroom house to my property.
Very highly
in
attended.
accessory.
There's too many conversations going on. I can't follow all of your conversations.
Do you want my gavel?
I'm asking what Chris is asking, so Chris
Go
has a
ahead. It's being
question.
integrated,
No, I'm
and I
just
love
wondering,
that
you said
the
over the garage,
historical
whatever,
society
but
is
if
part
I
of the cultural
wanna
fest, 'cause I
build
think
like a
that gives it
two-bedroom
a
or
bigger
one house, little,
eye
you know,
attentive to
house
it.
on my property,
When
and
you're
then rent it
growing by
out, that
15,000
would be
people a
one,
year,
an
you're still
AED.
establishing your heritage.
Yeah.
ADU. Okay, so
But you
maybe we
can't rent it out
reorganize a
short
little,
term.
Yeah.
this, or reword
It
this a little.
depends
How
on
to, instead
what
of-
your
Fast.
short-term rental.
Yeah, in terms of, say, separating it, how to
Wait,
integrate
we have
our
one
history
that
with.
every neighborhood now because you guys got the HOA.
Right.
Like off the
process,
fourth
so-
and
Yeah.
all
the
tied
HOA
into things that
process,
are already
you can't
popular.
Airbnb.
Yeah, go where the people
I
are.
like that.
You did?
Okay.
70% of the people, they're green.
No, new neighborhoods were requiring it to be.
Last one,
built in
develop
there.
music and
Yeah.
performing arts
So what if it's
programming
not a
aligned with the
neighborhood,
arts
it
master
doesn't
plan.
matter, these are just for
So-
HOAs.
No, it's not just for HOAs.
Wait, okay,
It
wait.
could be another
So let-
business.
So
I think it would be wonderful.
she's talking
if
about
in
is
tune with
a unit you can build next to your house,
cultural
rent it out.
festival that we've had going on the past couple of years.
Chris was
that
asking about
then
building a
becomes
house for
a
like a mother-in-law.
arts
or
and cultural
kids or
festival.
something
So
like
It
that.
doesn't
another thing
matter
where we can
legally.
build upon
And
the
you
distinction,
can't
really
make a
activating
distinction
the entire
between
Park
those things.
Street,
Once they're allowed,
going from
you can
Grand
do
Central
either
Plaza
of
to
Where
those
Library,
would
all
like
over the place.
accessible
We can
living
incorporate with
be
what
for
already
like
exists,
disabled people living
as opposed to
Carmel,
creating its own separate thing.
Baldwin, they say
Cause again, we're
certain
growing so
percentage of
fast, you
those
have the
are
skeleton and the
accessible
baseline of like the
people
playhouse and other community centric events that
Different.
cater to this.
Different.
Accessible.
Totally
Okay,
different
okay.
concept.
Programming to focus solely on
Yeah.
that.
Plus, any programming we do have, I wanna drive
Do you
to
think
the
this is a,
amphitheater.
where do you, I'm
Such
just
as
curious,
Grand
what do you
Junction,
think
right?
this is for?
I want more to happen there because that's where where
What-
people
where
are
do
What do you
think-
think this, is this a high and a,
There to be able to
1.5
bring the
and
people in.
1.6 into one.
I think there's
Yeah.
a
Festival,
limited
you're
number
gonna
of
have-
places
I
where
would
it's
say
going
even with
to
what they've
be.
done, Dr. Key, you look at some of the events, like what was the
But-
band that just, the band that was just there on Thursday or Friday, that whole yard was filled and people
And
made
I'm
so
not
it.
saying
it's
it's
one
to
of
your
those
point,
where.
we're
I'm
getting
just saying, when you get enough parking, you can then
Medium
really talk
priority,
about
but it allows you
major
to have
festivals
Sure.
down there.
Agreed.
And
Which is
housing
to-
choices, the difficulty
balancing
does
everything that was
range
discussed,
between retrofitting.
building upon what's already
People asking
existing,
for this?
and
I mean,
we've been doing
in
that
most
for the last several
communities.
years.
Okay.
And then say if it gets to a point of being so big, well then maybe we do consider having an additional day or another day, another event, apart from the entirety, highlighting.
They're out there, people are doing it.
The
punchline is combine 1.5 and 1.6 to
Yes.
further diversify the offerings until it can be its own thing.
Mhm.
There we go.
Hot diggity dang, let's go.
And you're not a college town.
Yes, I'm
That's
pro
where they
economical
get
H1.
into, like,
5-1? Are we
everybody
starting
goes
at
off
5
the
again?
rails.
Starting at 5 again.
Wilmington's been fighting over
Okay,
this
I'm gonna
so,
excuse myself, but I'm leaving you guys in good hands. I
Alright.
tell you.
Thank you, sir, appreciate you.
Dr. Keen, thank you for your insight.
so this one is maximize
maximize economic development impact through strategic partnerships,
Right now,
regional
if you wanted to do
collaboration,
this, you
and
just go get a
multi-sector
variance.
engagement.
Right?
So the first one is focus on
So
public-private
trying to figure
partnership
out if there's some
relationships
niche
with
where
existing
we
and
could
future
change our
investors.
H2 to allow it.
Oh, H2?
The reason I
Seems
say
like
it's
it
a little
would
harder is
be
because one,
quasi
people don't
easy to
understand
accomplish, but
private
also
partnerships,
not a priority.
and two, they're always against
But then again, if you start adding
money
like
to private organizations, even though it's not really what we're
affordability
doing, in
concept
fact,
of
we're
this,
lessening their
you know,
burden.
it does make
Sometimes it's
sense.
an education issue,
That's why it
but I still think it's a high
becomes
priority.
Yeah,
something
I'd say
that
medium
you think
priority.
about
I'll
it.
go with H2.
That's a cool topic, thank you.
Then fill in the detail.
1.2, create a list
All
of
I'm
33
saying
housing design.
is
Yeah,
focus
every
on
subdivision
what
built in
partnerships
Westfield
in
is
what
PUD.
sector.
No.
Down
Based
low
on
cost.
what would.
Right.
Speed up the process.
What are you doing down here?
Get a little closer to the group.
Come on down.
As a guy who makes a living off of P4, let's go P3.
The big thing is reduce costs.
It was,
Yeah, sure.
right. And this isn't necessarily about cookie cutter, it's just
okay,
saying
thank you.
these designs
5.2.
are.
That's
what
what I
Foster regional
always do.
collaborations on key economic development initiatives that
And this is one of the
that help
tools
Westfield
communities are
reach
using.
its economic
It's
objectives.
perfectly
As long
fine
as
to
the
tell us
Hamilton County
like,
isn't paying
this
money
ain't
to
gonna fly.
Marion County for its roads, that'd be
Are we
great.
reducing
So that's another
costs for
question,
the?
regional collaboration.
Yeah, I don't know,
collaboration
actually, I'm
with
cool with
county and
this,
other
actually.
You're gonna
It
get
should
too much
be.
more.
Regional collaboration with existing business owners,
The
everything.
whole subdivision was
So
like it,
no,
right?
this
Same
is
model.
more
Well,
about
And then we also then
collaborating
fix
with
the whole thing that
communities
people
in the
that
county.
aren't
In the county.
extremely rich can't live
So
here,
in Hamilton
right?
County.
Like, so I
Yes.
mean, I'm like, why not have
In
at least.
Hamilton County itself, so not
In
letting.
Hamilton
think
County
well,
and
we can-
Hamilton.
I'd rather
And
just
the
have
county
it with you.
itself, yeah, I got
Yes,
it, understand,
yes,
understand,
yes.
thank you.
But
What's a good example?
I love that
Ed
there's
Carpenter,
parts of me
like
that
you bring in
love
somebody
this,
like
actually.
that, like communities are often
Because
fighting each other for
the
those
barrier
opportunities.
to entry
So if we're
on
focused on
getting these
economic development
houses
and economic
is
development
the
initiatives,
whole,
the
everything
difficulty
you're just
before
talking
would
about
still be
is
a
what makes them
priority.
so freaking
You can't
expensive.
ignore the competitive
And
landscape.
it's like,
of
especially if they can be
these
small and they're nest of like,
But then there are
get a
parts
bunch of
of
them at a
economic
spot,
development,
like,
such as this water issue that
there's
eventually.
there's some,
Yeah.
whoever came up with
There's
this
gonna
idea
have no
was
water
on
for
something.
growth.
I don't know if
That's
it'll
the
work
kind
in
of
Westfield, but there's
opportunity
some.
where we have synergy. So maybe it's
Mhm.
less on the actual, we don't wanna work with them, we actually want the businesses to come here, we don't wanna lose them to Carmel or Noblesville. But
So like
for
a-
all economic development, it's some of the larger stroke issues that we do wanna work together on.
I don't
Yeah,
disagree, but at the same
100%.
time.
Amen.
I mean, that exact
Sure, sure, sure.
example,
A
like,
1000,
that's the
yeah,
example.
new centennial.
It's not
I
up for
agree.
us to really communicate with local municipalities as much as it is the actual.
Have you been by the one by Amazon?
And
Well, we have
so-
to actually bring water,
Over
like,
here,
so
right,
the
yeah.
utility
You know what I'm
project,
talking
so how do
about,
we
those
get
little
water to the
houses that
utility
are
providers?
probably, they can't be
Eventually
more
we
than
That's the
600
across multi
square feet.
jurisdictions, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm
That makes
talking
Oh,
sense.
they're
Wabash
bigger than
thing that
that.
I'm saying.
H4.
They're more than 8.
H4.
They're probably 8 to
Okay.
You know what I'm
8,000.
talking about?
I think it's a Lennar development.
Okay, and then the
Yeah.
last
That thing
one,
is
create a
crazy.
multi-sector partnership engagement strategy nationally and globally around key business sectors.
I would see it.
Speaking of broad strokes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Huh?
I mean,
So
I
think
feel like
of-
we've already kind of.
So I
Yeah,
grew up in the
Yeah.
neighborhood like Edward Scissorhands,
Yeah,
and when
okay.
we were
I
shopping
was
for
thinking
houses,
too-
it was just like,
I was
this
thinking like
neighborhood's giving
South
me
Korea,
say,
yeah.
so
You're
Samsung.
talking about on the
can't
west side of
Marketing as a result of
Yes.
somebody knows of us doing something, I think it's a high priority.
So,
Yeah, I haven't been
what
up that way
priority
forever.
would we give this
Because
if
whether
we
you
put it
directly
only
or
on
indirectly
info?
pursue it, there will be the
If we
opportunity.
put this only on info, what
Two and a half.
priority?
H2?
It's definitely I've given it.
H2, look at that, we move much faster on economic development, that's cause we all do. I don't farm, but
I should
I can
probably.
help you with your, I can help you with your, I can help you with your economic development.
Oh, now I'm like, no, I have
they're
friends
all
that
the
worked at
same.
CP Morgan too.
I forgot that. Back in the day.
So create a world-class
level
infrastructure and
difficulty
quality
in
of
that,
place
I mean,
amenities
probably
that support
three.
business
I would say
operations
politically
and
it's
attract
at least
residents and
Three,
visitors.
yeah.
So the first one,
Two?
implement
No, no,
strategic
Who was it? What
infrastructure
neighborhood?
investments
Crown Ridge?
that support economic development
That's-
projects
yeah, I
don't
through
remember that
capital
one.
improvement programs.
Got it.
That's before my time.
Also.
Yeah, Siri doesn't always understand that
So,
distinction either.
the reason
Okay,
I
so
agree with two is.
Review-
One point three is a high.
We're going through this right now, right, why aren't you paving
Oh, yeah.
199th, right,
Yeah,
why
I
would you
was
do
on
that
the
before,
Valor
you're gonna kill us.
side anyway.
How often do you have to refer start a year.
So you're in a new tradition? You're on one of the big new traditions, or what?
Two.
Do you remember, like, which house you had?
Okay.
It is a high priority.
Did you build it?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, when I say one, I just think
my mind.
Yeah, there's some big houses in Berkshire.
Yeah.
I
All the
don't
other
think so
factors,
because
yeah,
of the
funding, you gotta
funding,
cut
yeah.
funding, you gotta do a million things, it might
You
be
gotta raise
three in my
taxes.
mind, but I'm.
Square
not-
footage, you got a lot of
Yeah.
square footage.
I think you raise, yeah, I think it's gonna be hard.
We're
raising taxes, no.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to find between.
Okay,
Right, I mean,
implement-
it's not just changing the ordinance, it's
Implement
changing
a
how
quality of
everybody
place
approaches
strategy
it.
that
1.3,
enhances
we say
traditional
it's
economic
hard.
development
Kevin
initiatives.
agrees with that.
I think you always have
It's
to
a
change
3 to
those.
4. Because
You
it's
always
for
have to change
developers,
those
it's a
to keep
4,
up
it's,
with
they
it.
don't wanna change the process because it makes it easy on them.
That's not
But
traditional.
Also politically, it's.
For us too, right? I mean, it's something we're used to.
Improve the quality of
Right.
the quality of place.
No, it's worked for y'all,
So
I
thank
mean, I
you.
guess like,
Yeah.
look at the infill, look at the infill project we're doing today.
Why are you letting
With
that be
Onyx
built
and
there?
East, right, like it's a garden style amenity that I'm guessing has very little incentive because it's single family homes. But the garden amenities bring brought forth by the
And
quality of.
Kevin, you may have thoughts on if
So, yeah, so
the
thinking about your
residential
trails,
permitting
how you
process,
distance around
development,
those.
development and
I go
permitting,
with the high too.
like, if there's efficiencies that you think could expedite.
Depends on what it says.
the timeline or
I'm trying not to read ahead.
4-3 raise taxes, stop.
Seems like there's permitting going
Building inspection.
Anyway, we're joking.
my comments.
We're not a tax board, that's the beauty of it, Victor.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
Victor's
The
pasture.
next one,
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
We have no control.
Focus on development and redevelopment in strategic
Okay.
areas of the city to create
Is there
We
a
have some plans where that
robust
is not the case.
Is there a holdup for
community
the
centers.
H2.
residential development permitting processes? I mean, it
Because we
seems
see
like there's
like Lantern
houses all
Commons.
over the place.
Remember, we
Big
get
house.
input from lots of different people, and if you put a room
We are
full of
flying
residential
to economic
people,
development.
so
We are
that
economic
we want everything to be faster.
I'm fine with the process, but we build it fast.
Oh, yeah, I think so
And
too.
Kevin just said it's about as
Okay, so the
streamlined
next one
as
is
it can
build a
humanly
skill.
get.
Yeah.
We always try to like
That meets current
put
and
this
future
in and
business
check, we're just
needs.
gonna take that one
Attracting
out.
and retaining.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take it out.
Like maybe if you said efficient.
So continue to develop a comprehensive workforce
Yeah.
development
Doesn't-
system in partnership
plenty
with.
of-
Did you just say no to that one?
Yeah.
I love that.
Kevin and I already thought you were.
Three, and I guess like, cause my answer too is like, I'd love to hear what they're saying on housing, cause like that's the other side of this, like, are you actually living in your community?
But you're doing
Yes.
some
There's
of it.
difficulty to H3 it is, I love that
H3.
answer.
And I can say we're doing it, I mean, we're doing it.
Working on it, currently working.
Everything is an H, you are correct, sir.
Completely ignoring so many interdependencies, please continue.
No, well, that's where the level
Something
of
that we're able to
difficulty
do
comes
one
in,
at a
is
time.
that interdiscipline,
That's right.
those interrelationships.
Freed up.
So ensure talent
I would give
attraction
it a
and
medium
retention
if I would say
strategies
it's
align with
probably 2 to 3
targeted
at this
industries,
So
but
can
also
you
have a
add
greater
affordability
focus on
to that?
attracting
Kevin,
young
that's
professionals.
some of the data
That's
stuff
not-
that I've been working on with Kayla.
H3.
Now,
That I
And
joke about in
one
our
of the
meetings.
things that you'd have
That's
to
what
figure
that
out
is.
is how you're defining affordability.
It's coming slowly but surely.
You know what I will say about that question, one point
Given the
five,
form,
is
sizes,
I think that is
and
the most
incentivizing
consistently asked question that I've
based on
heard on this
monetary
board
or-
since I've started. I've 4
I don't
years
believe
and then
that
off
it's
some
our
and
responsibility
then
to-
lower
Whatever
back in
cost
the
thing, like
first
some
round I was on it.
communities are doing with
Like,
cost of
So that make my move
Yeah,
initiative.
I would not be supportive.
Granted, I think some of the reasons
Like, there's enough
people
reason
are
for
asking
people
are
to be here and that's
maybe
why.
not for good reasons, but I do think that is a very consistent, yeah.
The sector I might consider supporting is just our safety.
Okay, so it's
I
coming.
mean, that your response.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Features, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
police
That
fire.
it's
but
done.
outside of that,
I doubt it.
We're not hitting every topic.
You're not
Hey, with
hitting
only
every topic,
15,000 a
but
year, you don't
they're,
need 18,000 a
they're
year.
getting there. We'll have more
we don't need,
capacity soon.
that's kind of my point, like, we've grown
That
from the
one's
year 2000 to
sometimes harder
10,000
to do.
population to the year 2020.
In apartments or how,
Yeah.
residential?
2025, 65,000
Apartments,
people,
it depends
if not
on if
more.
it
So
has a
it's like,
property manager
I think
or
that
not.
speaks to the,
What's
And
the
if the
demographic?
leasing
Give me
company will talk to you and tell
demographics
you
that are
everything.
interesting because of that
The communities that
65,000,
have
it's a lot
it,
of
they
younger
actually call.
families.
yeah.
Yes,
Versus
it's younger
young
families.
professionals
I
who
think
are
that's
living in
something we have
Rayla or in
someone,
town
like,
or living in
dedicated
places
to.
like
On
that.
that note,
Again,
um,
the activation of the quality of place.
if we're gonna
H3.
approve an apartment and that's information our city would be good to know, is there a way to
So
change?
increase workforce
like in their
resilience
ordinance
and
that they have to report it
adaptability as new
annually?
technology
change existing
emerges
ones.
and
Yeah.
changes.
It's so
We
broad.
talk about using AI.
The, like apartment
That is
owners
one thing,
or
yes.
anybody
That's a big
or
thing.
that.
So
No,
Kevin
it's-
calls once
I
on
mean,
your vacancy
probably
rate, you have to
H3 too, right? 'Cause
But
there's
how-
just-
Well, I'm just saying, maybe they just have to
Increase
submit it every
workforce resilience.
January
What-
1
what
It
power
wouldn't
do
be
we
the
have over
owners
workforce?
for you.
So
Or
your
what?
department,
Yeah.
your economic development
Oh, so-
department.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know,
Yes.
what if they don't do
Yes.
something else that they, you
Yeah,
know, do?
but what are,
Them.
you
Right.
call them, you
Right.
ask them,
Right.
they say no.
Generation of
Yeah.
business to create resiliency.
What?
Right.
I feel like what you're trying to do.
Yeah, for all I know, I
guess
think there's too many
North Point's kind of
apartments,
the
but-
example.
And most of the
They're all
owners
What's
are
the
real
lawyer
estate
here
investment
that was
trusts.
here earlier could.
I don't know that.
Sector or
They're supposed to be
software
running
sector.
Right, most of the owners
to the
that
next
change
gen.
different
I'm just
real
trying to
estate
get
investment
to-
trusts,
Kevin's supposed to be
property
bringing that
management.
Succeed
Kevin's
in
supposed to be bringing that
doing
data.
AI data center.
But if it's
I think
recorded-
it's- yeah.
Or you think
That's
about
not-
like,
We're still collecting.
think it's
like
gonna be
ag tech
Not your
or
scope.
biotech
Kevin
or
will knock on every
sports tech.
apartment door.
When you think about what the
1.6.
year of
Everybody
the
lives,
you could
explain more.
So do we,
say it's not gonna be that
do we,
hard?
do we think that the
Rather than I thought
public is
it
gonna
Right.
care that
And there are different ways to conceive of this,
Right,
and
this
this
is
is
an interdepartmental
definitely
question.
something that is
No,
done
what
more
we're saying
often in larger
is,
cities
unless
than
I
it
misunderstood,
is in suburban.
we're saying like, not interdepartmental,
can
but
totally
like
deep
dev,
six
should they be
this.
actively pursuing distinct
There are
sectors
communities that
of
have
business to
incentives
create long-term
to-
resiliency
I misunderstood
within the
H3.
for housing
H3 and
goals,
D.
Mr. Buck,
like
this is correct.
you can have
Next.
so much more
Oh.
percentage units than would normally be allowed. You
Where am I?
change for
Okay.
X percentage
Can you
of
more
them.
space here?
No, I'm
So
just
this
trying to
one
figure
is-
out where I put ECDEV 5 and then 4 and then.
So this is cultivate a thriving innovation ecosystem that supports startup creation,
Not
great
section
scale,
eight.
technology.
Section
and
eight
access.
is, no, cause
That's
no.
Carrie
So the first one
Carrie
is increase
I
innovative
think when you start
infrastructure
saying
to
all
80
live,
to
foster
120%
economic development
AMI
in
is
key
not
areas of the
eligible
city.
for
What would
incentives.
be defined
That
as
is market rate,
innovative?
but it's workforce.
Sounds hard.
120%
fiber,
higher are the people who definitely
um,
don't need assistance.
like satellite, or
Everything
well,
to support
Low income
3-3.
housing tax credits and some of the housing choice
I know,
voucher
H3.
programs are for people who make 30 to 80% of
Fiber's a big
AMI,
one.
generally
I'm trying to
50
think
to
what else.
80% of AMI. And then public housing
enough
is for
power,
very low income
power is
people.
another
That's a
big
big
one.
I mean, or you think,
Water.
if you were to, I was gonna say, if you get
So,
a meta
section
data center,
eight
you
is
have
the
cooling
proper term for
capabilities or
it
something like that, or a
is
chip
housing choice
processing plant or a
vouchers
battery plant,
when you're
like,
talking about apartments.
H3.
Unless it's owned by a housing authority. So there's a lot of differentiation in there.
Okay, so
But-
investigate the creation of makerspace and fabrication labs.
apartment complex.
I would lean back on
Or something like that.
not
Set
necessarily
something
being
aside
our role
that
or
are
responsibility
eligible
for
an application.
the private market. As much as I would support these, like our library has
Then
one.
subsidized by TIF.
I've had conversations
Free.
with the
Like
local
build
art
that
scene to
facility.
want to have these opportunities, but I think it
Subsidize
will
the
come
tax dollars
as
unless they
we
break the
approve
terms of the agreement.
more developments like the CRG South.
They're
Hope-
doing that.
Yeah,
things.
in
The
Indiana,
opportunity will be there.
okay.
It's just not something that we necessarily need to be
Wilmington's
steering.
Bloomington.
So maybe we say
Um,
support.
I know, but that is an example.
Right.
No,
So
like
there's,
L2.
I mean, there's HOTIF, which is different,
I
and
think we support
you
the
have
creation,
control.
it's still L2,
Yeah.
I don't think if it's investigate or support, it's still a
The other
priority.
part of it is.
And it's gonna be up to the private sector, cause too, the other side of this is they're so incentivized, to
And you
your
can do it
point,
for
to mix their
disabled
use
person.
matrix up,
Somebody
that they could do that if they so desire.
This also
live on
makes it look
their
like we
own,
didn't just
but
hit
doesn't have
H3 for all of them.
funds.
It's actually
Yeah,
good.
about that.
Much like you
But
want.
they might work
Exact,
at
excuse me?
Starbucks.
Well, I can attest to that you're having a conversation about it.
The video says,
Yeah.
there's a record now.
It's complicated, I know.
So-
I'm not a tax raising body.
It's a legal thing. but-
Difficulties of
So the next one is
Yeah.
to foster partnerships to
You're
develop
right
I would say,
entrepreneurial
I'd say it's low in 4, but.
programs.
The biggest risk in some of these programs too is the
See that
accountability
we
behind
got
it.
enough on our plate
You have to
as a
limit
local
it.
government.
No, I would
I think
say,
it's
Well, but
they're the ones that
think
pick
about
up
it.
in
dependency
jail
of
all
that
the
and
time
like
saying
free
that
though,
like
right?
it didn't go right
Resilience
and
adaptability to then have those
subsidizing
programs.
some project.
I think
I
it's
don't
not
think
so
we
much
need
your
incentives. I
role
think
as
if-
much as it is to encourage
Through
partnerships
a
within
collective
your
effort,
workforce.
the mayor
to
puts out a
drive into
position of what we're
programs
looking
and
for.
Did you think
That
about what the
development will
mayor
come.
does and what
You know what I mean?
economic
Hey, we want
development
this.
does in
They're gonna be
partnership
knocking
with Chamber of Commerce.
That is an
A
example.
squiggly line through it.
I feel like that's hey, we're the government, we're here to help. That's kind of like.
We haven't seen too many apartment complexes come through, at least since I've been on council, but that's because
be
there's
more targeted
somewhat of
towards that. Because
communication
yeah, I
out
mean,
there.
that just again happens naturally, you want to be.
Right, but if we change that mentality, I think there's gonna be a floodgate of work. So, so
Okay.
just kind of what
Yes,
we
maybe it's a
Let's move on. Objective 2 is about
sometimes people have
village
problems
master plans for Lamont,
government
Eagletown,
getting involved.
Jolietville, Hortonville, and other applicable neighborhoods.
Medium 3.
This is
And then
something
the
that
last one on there,
the planning
collaborate with
department is
partners.
already working on.
Sorry.
Collaborate
I
with
love
partners to support business
So,
technology advancement.
Identifying them and developing a process, that's kind of already underway.
Yeah.
It's
That seems
low
like a high
difficulty.
one.
Oh, different.
High, but it's probably.
Is it?
I agree, there's a lot of redevelopment that goes into that, and that area doesn't have all the answers.
Okay.
Too, because there's development pressure.
Does that then change the
Yeah,
priority
that's
around
real.
those areas?
And we
Yes.
wanna make sure
I don't
that
think it
we're-
does, because again, it's still, it's a priority of understanding you wanna push the priority while it's not, cause in my head, high priority.
Actually, I would change that, it's a
pursuing
high
that endeavor
difficulty.
versus we need to encourage somebody to pursue that endeavor.
You said utilities,
Yep.
land costs, as soon as somebody identifies. them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Last
You have people that have been there for years, they don't want that type of activity.
We're combining it.
No, no.
Yeah, and
not
still
my-
people
no,
medium.
Well, and it's not so much
There's
about
B1.
selling or changing anything,
Okay,
it's
so
about how
last
to
sheet
develop
we have
around them
is
in a way that.
create a robust, diversified economic base that
Baseline
can withstand
studies
market
is something that
fluctuations
Caleb's group is
and
already
provide
working
sustainable growth
right?
opportunities.
What is it?
So the
The
first one
baseline
is
studies for each village.
specific
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
industries for economic diversification,
Got it right.
ensuring not,
Yeah, high one.
should be ensuring that not
I
one
think,
single industry is
uh,
more than 25% of the
I think
employment.
that 2-3, preserve historic or community identifying structures
It
where
should be
possible.
a high priority,
Like,
but
I
that level
love
of
that
difficulty may even
concept,
be our
but
first
I
floor
have
of the
yet,
night,
like,
right?
Westfield doesn't have any
We had a
cool
floor
stuff.
before.
It's
I
already
mean,
been
it's,
done.
yeah.
Say
What
that
they've
simply
already
just
deemed
because
historic is what they're gonna deem
Yeah.
historic.
if you have an open, clean slate, sure,
Not
but
the
we
conversation
are
I had with
community
a
now
lady.
and looking at.
I
would say
these
that
areas
the
outside of downtown, right?
Yeah.
So these are the.
Try to
These would
assign
be the
25%.
This would be like the grain elevators and Horton.
Yeah, like the
There's
silos,
We're gonna keep
things
the
like
green.
that.
We should be
The green beds?
diversified.
Is that what we're talking about?
That's in some ways what people are talking
Diversification of the tax base because of how predominantly residential it was circa
Yeah.
everything
The
pre-COVID.
greenhouse sitting on the stilts.
Sure, but what?
I mean, it should be high, and I
City
think
wants
it's a
to
high level
protect
of
or make
difficulty,
sure
I guess I just don't know.
those things-
Well, and when I think about it, I think about Columbus and Cummins.
You almost wanna
When I
blur
think
that
about,
as
and one thing, if that slows down, it's
give
really bad
incentives
for the community, right?
preserving
So you need to
historic
stabilize.
stuff.
But
Like,
also
is there
politically, it
anything
sways
around that?
so much.
Well, that, so
Maybe like Cinemac and
for
Broadway.
historic buildings that are
Right. So
historic
it's so
under
hard to say
Shard,
because we were
which
built
is a nationwide, organization.
as a bedroom
um,
community who was
you
trying
can
not to
get
be a
ta-
bedroom community.
money to keep those
So H
and
and D
also
is assigned
I can,
Start
I think it's
reuse,
gonna
yeah,
be
reuse
a
that.
number of ways.
That's one thing that a lot of people don't know.
I'd give it
Yeah.
a medium, I think it's probably a 3 or 4.
Okay, the next one,
The
ensure
difficulty is
Westfield
finding
has a
some of the
comprehensive
funding
small
that
business and
goes
entrepreneur
Right.
support
Which they
ecosystem.
exist.
I mentioned the Chamber of Commerce a couple of times.
That's the part that's hard.
That's hard.
Um,
It'll sit on
We can
stilts for
support
2 years.
that endeavor, but I would say
Unique character or theme of focus for each place while keeping a
in terms
scale of
the
development
comprehensive plan
consistent
side
with the
of this,
village.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's pushing that to them and just being a support vehicle.
Same as 2.1.
Low one, medium one, medium
I'm not
one.
smart enough to
medium
answer
one.
2.1 is
Medium
picking
is
which
the,
villages
hey, we
you're
should
doing your
encourage
master
them to
plans
go get it.
for and the
Yep.
process for
Yep.
developing them.
I think we have a responsibility
Two
to
is
keep
thematic.
their unique character alive. That's the right
If you
thing
can
to
tell
do.
us the secret to how to do
Bulldoze
1-3,
them.
we can all retire now.
Well,
In 1-3.
I just don't think, we're talking about Eagletown, Joliet,
Well,
and
actually, I
Hortonville?
don't
And
have,
Lamont.
I might have them with
Lamont.
me. There are action steps that we've already
Yeah,
developed for each
don't-
one of
I don't think
these.
there's enough there.
So,
I mean, I don't,
Bag,
Yeah.
cause I talked to the mayor and Janelle about them today. So let
That'd be
me
great.
Yeah, I'm really curious.
It's, you can't make new.
And that's village, that is village scale.
Broad statement that is solely, not solely, but
They just don't have like
predominantly
a
impacted by the
town
time
square
in
or
which you're
something,
in.
or
Yeah.
village square or anything
And
like
that's
that.
what
So
a
in the
village is,
recession
it's
period,
surrounded by
it's like that
something
recession
that
period, how do you determine
motivates the people
resilience?
that live there. And that's what our goal is, creating those villages surrounded by one certain thing that makes them special.
Yeah, so what about like that, all that development is going way west, I mean, it's like creeping up in each town.
Yeah.
So where does that stop then?
So, right now, it's like in between the Little Eagle Creek and what,
Okay, so
it's like halfway kind of.
So,
And we're, that's one thing that this is gonna help us do is
so
show
on 1-3,
how much we
it
want
would
to
be complete and
preserve
complete
our
industry
study area,
concentration
which would be
analysis,
that Eagle Creek.
maintain a
Yeah,
healthy
like
mix of
playhouse
large
there,
anchors
theater,
and small
and you've got, like,
businesses,
Yeah.
develop
family
supply
dive
chain
farthest in the
resilience,
Road town?
and then focus on
Yeah.
economic shock.
Yeah, been there, haven't you?
So do we have,
We were just talking about.
do we have a priority for
Historical,
this?
there's the roadside.
And then-
Obviously
And
it's hot.
the
Sure, the first thing to put out there.
Playhouse,
But
that
then to
burned
your
down
point,
once
the,
they built
the
it.
statements of
The only thing historic
trying
about the
to focus
roadside
on
is the
again.
cigarette smoke on the freaking.
For those of us who are old
Years
enough
old.
to
I think it's a
remember
four.
every place just being
Do
like,
I
when you
love
walked
it.
in.
We're just grasping for
Yeah,
something
I think
to
it's
say.
a 2 or a 3.
Yeah,
That's
that's
another-
an only.
I would say so. I would lean 2.
Yeah.
You don't agree with me?
Now we're done.
We're done, baby.
Guess who's not done?
On 2.4.
I think they're on the last one.
It's not about winning.
Adjourned. Hey, a win's a win.
Yes.
Looking for a win here.
So on the
Extra
one, I can
points
tell
or
you,
this?
so
What do
the,
you guys agree with me? Rolling high?
Evaluating.
yeah,
I think
it's
what's
variant.
the
So we have
sub-area
targeted
plans
specific
are
sectors, so we have
kind of
targeted
finalized, and it'll
industries.
be like, okay.
And then align
Because in
economic
Eagletown,
place
there's
types
like
map
4 or
with
5
related zoning
historic
districts
sites.
throughout the city
It's
to
just no one
implement
knows
the
about
plan.
it.
Identify and reserve ideal locations for significant and strategic commercial and
Okay.
employment uses. And then capitalize on Westfield strategic locations.
We only have like
Hamilton County
15
executive
minutes
area
left, so
for
let's
economic opportunities.
try to
Focus
cruise
on
through
job
some more of
creation and
these.
clean manufacturing and
Um,
research and development.
This is, so once we have the
Targeted
place
sectors,
type
you're saying
map
the
done,
idea is to target sectors or did you
which
identify?
talks
did.
about
We
those
have
development
advanced
patterns, they're
manufacturing,
like
healthcare
future
and life
land uses,
sciences,
but
technology and
complex
information
and rich,
services,
aligning that
professional and
with the
financial
Unified Development
services,
Ordinance or with
sports
the
technology,
zoning, so that
and then
your
agro and
plan and your
biotech.
zoning work together.
Okay, and so really the only thing we're
So that
lacking
help
in
in the
that is
conversations
what the
where we're saying,
professional
oh, this is
finance
the fake
services
line
or
of
something that
high
kind of
density,
touches
low
the
density
other
that
ones
we
already.
already-
Yeah,
My priority.
So based on the market analysis, that's,
Cause I get
Will
exhausted.
we be provided that at any point?
yes.
That'd be great,
Yeah.
I would love to read that.
We are to make
Based on the
that
prior
adjustment.
weekend we
Yeah,
just
2 or
had,
3.
that's a thought I had throughout.
2.5.
Live with
Um,
our access to not just the
there's
airport,
to
but
prevent
our
missing middle
executive
housing
airport.
type,
And
so
I'm
this
sure a
would
lot
be
of
like
those
duplexes, garden
offers
apartments,
The county bought Sheridan and are
townhomes.
expanding that at some point
and
too, aren't they?
mixed
So then you're gonna have that northwestern,
plan.
but still, you have that northwestern opportunity.
The county bought what?
The Sheridan Airport,
Oh, okay.
and so.
They're gonna try to move general aviation there and then make the current airport more jet
Oh, hard to
centric.
tell.
Supposed to expand or have expanded that runway at exactly?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
So
It was
missing
expanded
middle
a while
housing
back, but
types
there's
are
also
generally
discussion
like
about crossing.
duplexes,
That's
townhomes,
what it
garden
was.
apartments,
Really
which could be 3 or 4 units connected to each other, but single
Materializing
story,
that,
and
pushing the
mixed
more
use.
recreational use up to the Sheridan
Like
one.
two,
and
2
now
over 1,
provide
3 over 1,
opportunity
4 over
for
1.
Neither Westfield.
Do you believe we have zoning barriers that are
Westfield
preventing that right now, because everything's a PUD, and so I
That's
would
the
not
problem. That's the barrier.
Is there anything that we didn't go over that you think we're missing?
Say that again, sorry.
Is there anything that we didn't go over that you think we're missing in these actions?
No, cause I think they're all encompassing, right? It kind of touches something, it's ideation versus implementation every single time, right? We can dream it up, but how
I
we
just,
have to focus on
it's
two
interesting
distinct
because
subunits of
when
what
I
you're
think
trying
about
to
these
achieve.
questions, I start
And
thinking,
you have different
why
opinions on the different subsets over
does
there. I'd be
Westfield
interested to do this exercise
specifically
again.
need middle, more
And, like,
middle
mix the
or
groups,
less middle
and then
housing
have, like, a
types
vocal
or
advocate of
mixed
both
use
and see
development
where you
type
land, 'cause
stuff?
Trying to do it
Like,
all.
why does it
We're not actually gonna do it.
I'm not
The
saying
point
that it
being,
shouldn't.
like, you didn't miss anything.
I'm just
because
saying,
we're
like-
so encompassing and there's so many differing opinions that like.
I'm just saying, like,
instead
what-
of missing it,
Yeah.
four very like-minded
But-
people with the same.
but why does it-
opinion, I feel like.
Yeah.
But why does it have to be
group.
in
Yeah.
our municipality?
Necessarily like-minded, but we worked well.
In the sense of.
And I don't disagree with that, I'm just
Things
saying,
don't put in
why
front of
does a
us.
You didn't agree with our
municipality have to
H3s?
have every single housing type?
Everyone of your, like, was.
I'm just asking.
Point being though, like, again,
Yeah.
I can't tell you what's missing or not missing, cause these all feed
Yeah.
into every other piece
Well,
of it,
and
then you
infrastructure,
understand the global picture.
and density.
I mean, we're not,
Would love to see
we're
that,
not
would
New
love to see the
Jersey, so
compiled reports from
legally
both
not
sides of
every
the same.
Yeah, see what
community
they
has
have
to
from
have
there.
every
Well,
house.
so we're
Housing and
doing,
transpo.
we're doing this.
But you just think
with
it's
the
'cause
joint
it's the right
focus
thing to do.
groups on
It is a best practice.
Thursday, and then we'll do this with
Think
the
about
steering
a lot of
committee
I
on
really
Friday.
wanted to do that, I really
Yeah.
wanted to do housing.
That's,
Decade or two.
yes.
Our hospitality.
I'll do
retail.
those two topics next time.
It's
Yes.
gotten worse in the past 20 years.
Make sure you,
not
yes,
better.
make sure you get on those.
Well, all the department people come.
Otherwise,
That's a good
we're gonna
question,
build
how will
apartments
you
where
juxtapose the data, like, are you gonna just take
As soon as
answers
we
from
build the
every
apartments,
group?
It's 18, 19.
It's like H3s or H2s.
Okay, but then why is this not a regional discussion versus a
So-
municipal?
We
is.
do, it's a regional conversation, the
sort of
public
do an
housing in the
aggregate
state of
of it,
Indiana, the
but
way
then
that
the
it's
other thing
structured
that we
regionally
do
is that there is no
is-
entity that has
You
any
know, I try, if you notice, I tried to
political
guide you a
power,
little
weight,
bit, like
or.
where I thought you should be. We'll sit down
You're
with
talking
staff
about regional
and go
housing
through
authority
these as
type
Yeah,
stuff.
we,
There's
we
no
have
mechanism.
no
Yeah.
mechanism
We'll
for
say,
that
you know, here is
regionally
where,
and
you know, we'll say,
statewide and
you know,
in central Indiana.
here's
we
where
very
the
much
plan
have no
commission
functional
came down,
regional
here's where the
entity.
focus groups
And
came
but
down,
then
here's
like,
where
why is the
steering
framework
committee, and then here's
not
what it looks
splintered?
like all together.
Why is
Then
the,
let's go
why
through
is
these
shared
and
and
see.
not like thinking you manage
It's
this?
growth and reality check.
It's called market failure for a reason.
they're not
Some
open
from
for.
plan commission, so
Mhm.
these like.
Hamilton County was looking.
Yeah, 'cause we have it.
That's funny, yeah.
The weighted average,
Well, it's-
yeah.
Yes.
So obviously,
Top of the pile and everything.
obviously, at the end of the day,
Yes.
like, staff are the only people that matter, because they live and breathe this all day, every day, we're like,
But
again, I say like-minded, however you wanna say it, collaborative. But like, we obviously all have our focuses, I got excited about XDev, you got excited about parks, like, there's clear human factor enjoyment of some of the subsets we're talking about, where the staff gets to be the one to bring it all together.
Right, so.
that's what they were proposing. You heard about it.
Good deal.
Okay,
Concept was, it's
This thing on.
remove that barrier to
I don't know where they are.
just take a motion.
Yeah, but you live there for 20
Yell
years.
at, return, keep talking.
By the way, I'm a huge advocate.
It's like a grab.
Yeah.
this copy?
Was there a plan
I'm-
with that, but I just am like,
Next
why
week's
does
is already
it
canceled.
be like every
Hey,
house, every
you pay
house
$250 for
has
that house
every.
and sell it.
Yeah, I saw that, I was like,
Yeah,
whoa.
the issue is south of State Road 38, all the way down to 100, or to 96th Street, across Hamilton Park.
We can skip the
Yeah,
reports.
defer to next time.
But you
because
have all
anyways,
of these
it's a different meeting, so you already missed
lower
out.
wage,
No, it's not a
higher,
different meeting.
like
Just for
retail
transportation,
hospitality,
if we ask it.
and we don't
go
have
over it.
regional
I gotta be
transportation,
here.
and so the housing plus transportation
As much as
costs are
anybody.
very, very high.
I think it's,
So
I think
that's
it's
the
difficult because we don't have
the
the
thing
data
we're
to
trying to
have,
do.
like, I don't have
So
that
we
data
tried to
already.
get
Okay.
Just get there.
I can't score it. I don't like it, I don't.
Eliminate zoning barriers to prevent middlemen.
Form-based elements into the regulatory standards to ensure compatibility and scale setbacks in streets.
All I know is Kevin left and we started going really fast.
So rather than doing.
I'm a low.
Made that connection.
Form-based are like, it's standards about what,
They have a little bit of conflict.
I just feel so
the
intimidated
form
by it, I have
is,
to look
the
for.
size and
Go left or right?
scope
thought it was
and how
a
it
thumbs
fits
up and not
on
another
the lot, rather than specific rules and regulations. Compact multimodal oriented connected walkable neighborhoods that maximize infrastructure, preserve open space, and reduce the per capita cost of municipal services.
Show that Dr. King left at
Yeah, that's all we talk about.
8:29.
I was like trying to count to pages.
Well, but that, whoa, we're talking about reducing per capita municipal service costs. Like, I actively fight that in certain times, where I love the fact that we have a road frontage that, have houses that face the road and we have a single street that
Mhm.
services that, that is so counterproductive in maintenance costs per house unit. But I like how it looks, and I think it makes a better community,
It does.
right? But it's literally only having 0.5 houses take care of the street, where if there was a house on both sides of the street, you have 2 houses on that same street, right?
Public works person.
What I'm talking about?
The like the streets along the
Yeah, the
front.
frontage
frontage
roads.
roads.
Those are pretty horrible.
I love them.
Cause what are
They're
they supposed to do?
fantastic.
They're supposed to connect to the next subdivision that's built, they
That
never
won't,
do.
yeah.
They never do, they never do. So you gotta plow down the end.
Don't
and
even
back
tell me
out.
about plowing down all
Oh,
those.
that's what I'm saying, they plow every baby out there.
So we have
I love
about
them, though.
3 minutes left, so we're not gonna get to all of them, which is
I'd say
fine
that's-
because
I'd say that's slow.
It's just this one?
Yeah, if you need to.
just so that you have context and know, we're gonna be
Hey, you
going
just wanna do
through
our
these
presentation?
with the joint focus groups and the steering committee later this week.
Sorry, I'm not even helping you at all. Like 0% being able
Okay, we're gonna stop there. What I will say is if you have any comments
Motion in a
on 4,
second. You
5,
guys
or
ready?
6
Motion to adjourn.
and wanna send those to us, please do so in the next week or so. And you have your handout, so you know what they are. And you can send us those comments and we'll incorporate that into the big bucket O input that we get on these.
Sounds great.
Yes, I said.
Thank you all for
your hard work on
participating
this.
tonight.
Okay, before we have to finish the meeting.
Oh, we just need to
Right,
actually
so-
close the meeting.
Now, with that finished,
Second, we're done.
you can't do that. We're gonna, unless there's an objection, we'll skip the reports. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Move.
Second.
No, I'm skipping it. Second.
I gave it a
All in
second.
favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is adjourned. We are adjourned at 8:53.
I am freezing.
My computer.
Bye.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was supposed to keep it away.
No.
Hey Kurt, finish that up for me.
Weirdly enough, still on our longest meeting.
There's a risk that I.
Yeah, I responded to.
Are you gonna be there?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Exactly what I.
Well, I think
Okay, you got it.
they got the
And so.
If you want, me and Shelby can sit
What I'm
front
saying
row
is-
and you can take the whole thing over.
Hey, I mean, whatever you want from me, you know?
Just impatient.
I don't like to have.
Yeah, I really appreciate this. You guys
Just
do a
jump
good
in?
job.
Okay.
Without
We're
seeing a
trying to-
presentation beforehand, like,
Sometimes when
be
we're putting
interesting.
together exercises, we don't always explain
No,
things well.
Of course
but
you
we're
are.
gonna try to-
Bring it in.
John.
Oh, all the time.